Greetings, space travelers. Welcome home. You've just tuned your dial to Spaced Out Radio, the only place where you can own the night. I am your host, Mr. Rob G, and tonight we're broadcasting to you on our terrestrial affiliates across North America and digitally on TalkStream Live, KPNL, and Odyssey Radio. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where the options are endless. You can stay up to date with the SOR Newswire, rock out to some Bumblefoot, and so much more. We have an awesome show planned for you tonight. We have Preston Dennett that'll be stepping in the building here in just a moment, along with Dolly Saffron. We have some great conversation lined up for tonight, so should be pretty awesome. It is Sunday. It's about to be the beginning of your work week, and I want to make sure that we kick it off and get it all started right. Hopefully everything's been going well for you all, and hopefully you've enjoyed what we've done here on the weekend. I had a great show yesterday with Mr. Roderick Martin from What a Big Secret and High Strangeness, and tonight we are going to do more awesome stuff with Preston and Dolly. So I know you guys can't not wait. Let's go ahead and look into the chat, and let's just see who actually, who's here first. Who gets the gold tonight? And it looks like it's actually Dino Bravo fan saying, hey there. Hey, Dino Bravo fan. Thank you so much for coming on in. You get the gold for the night. And looks like we got Race Fan coming on in with that silver saying, hey, hello, Rob. And then we have Lightwalkers with the bronze saying SOR Woo Friends. Hello, Rob. Hello there, Lightwalkers. Thank you so much for joining us. Who else do we got here coming on through the door? We have ANB or ANB, one of the two. Hello, everyone. Hello, right back to you. Definitely appreciate you coming on in. We have Nicola Perry Jr. Greetings and salutations all. Nicola Perry Jr., thank you for coming to After Hours tonight. We got Chris716 saying, what up? What up, Chris716? Thank you so much for coming on in. We got Tamot Man. Hello, Woo Tribe. Hello, Tamot Man. Thank you for joining us tonight. Appreciate you. Yeah, look at Brian Morgan. Thanks, Brian Morgan, for coming on in saying, nice. I didn't know there was a show tonight. Yeah, let me stop right there. First of all, thank you for coming on in, Brian Morgan. Definitely want to welcome you to After Hours. And just so you know, we do this 7 days a week. So there is never a day where you will not be able to come to SOR and get your fix. So we definitely have Let me go ahead and turn the ringer off on that. We definitely have an awesome show set for you tonight. And they don't know I'm doing the show? Okay. So we have an awesome show for you tonight. So, yeah, 7 days a week, Brian Morgan. We got Dave Scott, Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. to midnight Pacific time. And then you have the after hours, which is where you're at tonight. And we are Saturday and Sunday, 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. Pacific time. Always awesome things going on here. So we'd love to see you back. And yeah, I'll bring this one up too because you're right. Dang, Preston, you never take a day off, brother. And look, Preston is definitely a wealth of knowledge, and we'll be tapping into some of that tonight. And yes, he's definitely one of the hardest working people in this industry here, for sure. No doubt, hands down. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and see who else we have here. We got Christine saying, yay, Preston, Dennett. Hi, Dolly Saffron. Yes, it's going to be epic tonight. It's going to go down. We got Gaia Love 1 saying hello. Hello, Gaia Love 1. Thank you for coming on over to the after hours. Who else do we got? Let's see. Lars Jansen. Good morning, all. Good morning, Lars Jansen. Appreciate you coming on in. Let's see. T-Bone saying, MRG, how you be? Yes, T-Bone is in the building. Thank you for coming on in, T-Bone. Do appreciate you coming and hanging out with us tonight. Let's see. We got Poncho Zork. Thank you for coming on in, Poncho Zork, saying, Mothman, hey, you. Let's see. Sifting through these comments, we got Channel Warhorse, who has officially stepped in the building, saying Preston tonight. Yeah, hiya chat. Hey, Channel Warhorse, thanks for joining us tonight. Who else do we have? We got a good list here. We got Christine. Did I say Christine? I don't think I did, but I'm going to now. Hi, Channel Warhorse. How lucky are we? Hey, thanks for coming on in. We got Woo Train Riders DG. The DG stands for Derek Galloway. Is this rigged also? Crazy face emoji, worried emoji, don't really know emoji, and tight lip emoji. Okay, I got you, Derek Galloway. Let's go. We got Stargazer, who stepped in the building with the horns up, and we got the peace emoji. Thank you for coming on in, Stargazer. We do appreciate you. Let's see. We have Facebook user representing Indianapolis, where I have some relatives that live, saying Indianapolis is here. Wavy hand emoji. Thanks for coming on in, Facebook user. We appreciate you. Let's see. We have Kurt M. Official. Kurt M. Hi all. Appreciate you coming on in, Kurt M. We have Disideratum. Did I murder that or no? Thank you for coming on in, saying howdy, Mr. G. We do appreciate you. Thank you so much for coming on in. We have Paranormal Pixie Laura. Thank you for coming, Paranormal Pixie Laura, saying hi, everyone. Do appreciate you coming in. We got Little Camp 5-1 with the football talk, saying Chiefs headed to our fourth Super Bowl in 5 years. Congratulations to those Chiefs. And even though I don't really like those 49ers, congratulations to those guys too. I picked the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl, though, Little Camp 5-1, so I'm with you all the way. All the way. Please beat the 49ers. We got Flat 6 stepping in the building saying, hey, SORians, hey, Flat 6. Do appreciate you coming in. Thanks for showing up. Magneticus, Attractus. This is the guy that's going to build the time machine. I'm telling you, better keep your eye on this guy right here saying, hey, everyone. Magneticus, hey, what's up? We do have Karen and the Woo Train saying hello, SOR. Hello, Karen. We appreciate you coming on in. We got Mike Rivers saying happy Sunday, folks. Yeah, Mike Rivers, thanks for coming. And it is the end of the weekend, so we're going to make sure that we Go ahead and get this thing kicked off pretty good. We have a great show for you planned tonight. We got Sovereign, Cosmic, Wildman. Let's blast Preston with mad questions. Yep. So I'm glad you said that. So I'm going to say this anyways a few times during tonight, but make sure you guys get some really good questions, man, because Preston and Dolly, they have a lot of data. They have a great channel over there, and with the light gate, and we're going to be talking about some of that stuff tonight. So yeah, let's blast Preston with mad questions. Make sure they're really, really good, and we'll bring them up, put them in all caps. We have also Cryptid Search saying hi, everyone. E1. Okay, I think I got that. Thank you for coming on in. We got Davey Crotch Kick with the horn emoji, alien emoji, beers cheering or toasting emoji, the Spock, Dr. Spock, I don't forgot what they call that emoji, and then alien emoji. Thanks for coming on in, Davey Crotch Kick. We have Robert Anthony saying hi. Thank you for coming on in, Robert. We appreciate you here. Spiraling 69 saying hi. And I'll stop again because there's a lot of new names. I mean, I read these names every weekend, every Saturday and Sunday, and I'm definitely seeing names that I haven't seen in here before. So I really do appreciate you guys for coming on in and giving Spaced Out Radio a go. We have, like I said, great content here. We would appreciate it if you could consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell because we have awesome content all the time. We got SRCX, Climate Research, Alien Emoji, Wide Eye Emoji. Thank you for coming on in. Let's see, what else do we have here? We have, I don't know if I said, yeah, I did. Okay, we got Robert Anthony, but hello again, Robert Anthony. We have Double Day Clements saying, Preston is a great guest, and I do agree with you, Double Day Clements. So it should make for an awesome show. I'm just can't wait to hear, some of these, some of the things that he's going to say tonight. Let's see. We have Stargazer, SOR Woo Train is always moving. That's a good way to put it. It is always moving, for sure, all the time. We have Jerry Elmore. Dave's not here. Nah, Dave's never here on the weekend. This is After Hours with Mr. Rob G, who is me, and we get it going on every weekend. So make sure if you haven't been around that you come through and hang out with us. We always have a great, great time. Let's see. We got Bim Jim. Got Jim in the building saying, wow, I maybe received a message. Oh, I'd love to hear what type of message that is. Maybe you can tell us on the call-in show next weekend. Let's see. Okay, we got Sav asking a question. Oh, okay. Yeah. So Sav is already geared up. Sav is saying, Ron, let us know when it's time for questions so I can pile them on. And I know Sav has back to back a list of questions. So we'll have like a Sav segment where Sav just unloads 15 questions in a row. I got you, Sav, definitely. Who else do we have here? We have Raul Melendez. Thank you for coming on in, Raul. Happy Preston Dennett is here. Would not miss this for anything. We do appreciate that, definitely. We do appreciate it. I can't wait. It's always a great time with Preston and Dolly. Let's see. Doug Shelby. Just missed Jessica Cryptid Huntress show. And luckily I made it home in time for the After Hours suite. Yeah, and I just watched the Cryptid Huntress show, Jessica Jones. And yeah, it definitely was a great program. You may want to consider jumping into the Spaced Out Radio archives at a later time, youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio, and check it out. I think Cryptid 559 was there tonight, along with another guest. Who else do we have? Lex Diaz saying, yo, Lex Diaz, thank you for coming on in. We appreciate you. Almost down here to the bottom, we have M and M. or Eminem, either way. Hey from Anchorage, Alaska. Wow. Slava, Ukraine. Okay. Wow. Anchorage, Alaska, all the way up there. Okay. Definitely appreciate you coming on in. Please stay warm. I know it's got to be freezing. It's freezing here in California, so I know it's freezing in Alaska. Let's see. Who else do we have? Who else do we have? I think that is it. Oh, we got Super Knower saying, hello, friends. Hello, Super Knower. Thank you so much for coming on in. Almost. Oh, oh, wait. Deb from Sacramento saying, hey, sweet Rob G. Hey, Deb from Sacramento. Love it when you come through. Definitely appreciate you coming on in. Silent Listen saying, hey, y'all, just got in from another spectacular night of sky watching. Awesome. Man, I can't get enough of sky watching. And if you watch long enough, you're bound to see something for sure. Let's see. Who else do we have? We got Super Crazy Movie Geek saying, what about me? Cry face emoji. Man, you are in the building, Super Crazy Movie Geek. And we do appreciate you coming on in for sure. Deb from Sac says, smash that like button, and we would appreciate if you do that because it helps the algorithm and all those things of that nature. And it just really shows that you appreciated what we did. So we would appreciate if you hit that like button, if you don't mind. We have Cryptid Search saying, I heard about this show from Cryptid Hunters. Well, that's awesome. SOR is in self-promotion mode, and we all promote each other. It's all one family. It's all one channel. And if you're a viewer of this show, then we would obviously love for you to go and check out Jessica Jones. She has awesome stuff. And then Dave Scott through the week, awesome stuff. And it just is reciprocating love that just keeps cycling back around. So we appreciate you coming on in, Cryptid Search. Do appreciate you. Flippy. Okay, Flippy. Hi, I'm Flippy. Do appreciate you coming on in, Flippy. Thanks for coming. Bob Berkins saying work means nothing. That could go so many ways. I mean, I don't know what you mean by that, Bob Berkins, but I do want to welcome you on in and appreciate you coming in. Let's see. T-Bone. Yep, T-Bone is definitely here. We're almost to the bottom. It's actually pretty lit in the chat, and I love that. So appreciate you guys coming in. Slow Motion. Hi, all. Thank you for coming in. Slow Motion. T-Bone kicked it off with the super chat. We do want to appreciate your support for Spaced Out Radio and what we do here, T-Bone. You always show love, and we just appreciate you, man. What else can I say? Thank you so much for your support. Let's see. The Ferret. Okay, the Ferret is officially here. And the Ferret, just so you know, I haven't seen the thing that you mentioned to me in the comments, but I'm keeping my eye out for you for sure. All right, so Ferret says, hi, after hours chat. Thank you for coming, the Ferret. We have Eugene Braxton, Mr. Eugene Braxton, America's most experienced mystic, saying, hey, Rob G, my man, and chat crew. Thank you for coming in, Eugene. It's been a minute. Glad to see you here tonight. Let's see here. And Joanne saying hello. Do appreciate you coming in, and Joanne. Appreciate you. And Patrick Noble. Hey, from North Carolina. Thank you for coming in all the way from North Carolina. We do appreciate you tuning in to Spaced Out Radio. Wellshammer, love it, love it. Beer toast emoji, wine or champagne toast emoji. I take all that. It's all good. Thank you, Wellshammer, for coming on in. We appreciate you showing up. I think we almost got everybody. As soon as I think we do, then the list gets longer. We got Susan Alloway stepping in saying, hello, everyone. Preston Dennett is my fave. Well, should be an awesome show. Preston Dennett is definitely one of the top guys in this thing with so much information and I'm gonna love to hear about it tonight. Um, let's see. And it's just great. Everybody's coming in, and that's awesome. Paramore, thank you for coming on in. Howdy, Tomorrow, man. Hope you're doing great tonight. Let's see. Yeah, yeah, almost there. I think that might be. As soon as I say that, though, then a new name pops up. Robert Lamoth Jr. See, exactly. Hi. Hey, Robert Lamoth Jr., thanks for coming on in. And the more the merrier, and that is it. Okay, we are current. Thank you all. Thank you all for coming on in tonight after hours and joining us tonight with our fantastic special guests that we have here tonight. So let's not delay this any further and let's go ahead and get our two guests of the night, our two special guests, because we're lucky enough to have two tonight, and that is going to be Mr. Preston Dennett and Miss Dolly Saffron. Let me go ahead and bring them both up here. And hello, everyone. How are you guys tonight?
Good. How are you?
Doing great, doing great. It's always a great time when we get you guys in here. It's always great. And I know everybody here wants to hear from you. So we're going to be digging into some stuff here. Preston, how have you been?
Can't hear you, sweetie.
Sorry about that. I was muted.
That, hey,
Yeah, doing really good. I've been typing furiously and just about finished with my latest book, Not From Here,
yeah.
Volume 5, which is going through its final proofing right now. So, yeah, I'm excited about that.
Said not from here, volume five. Okay.
Yep.
I love it, and I'll tell you that's why I love going to your channel because every video could be the premise of a book, and that's I'm just like it's just awesome the way that you put together your content, and I'm gonna be bringing up some of that stuff tonight, but it's always a great watch over there. So with that being said, so the new book, what details can you give us? I guess we could start there. What's going into this book? Maybe something you could share with us on this, and then when do you expect it to be released?
Well, it's continuing the theme of the previous books, which are all about the sort of strange and unusual outlying type of UFO cases, avenues of research that haven't been explored before, just things that are a little bit different from the run of the mill UFO stories. And it should be out, well, really hard to predict for sure. The artwork is being done right now. So I'm super excited to see what the cover is going to look like. Dolly helped me with that in terms of
Mm,
designing it, but it's out
okay.
with my sister in law, who's a professional artist. So I'm going to guess a month to 2 months.
Up to two
But
months. Okay.
yeah,
So everybody keep your eye out. Preston, what are you on? Book number 32 now?
I think that's right.
Yeah,
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 I think
yeah.
that's right. Might be
That's
33. I'm not around there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's crazy. I mean, and the thing is that, and I always say this about you is that your works are always full of just the most interesting data. And when I talk about the need for someone on our team on the side of disclosure to catalog data in this way, you're just excellent at it. And I had a question about that actually. So with you having so much data, has there ever been a point where you've had some of these groups like UAPXs, even Arrow or entities like that look to you to get some of the data that you have?
Not in terms of official government, not yet, though I do occasionally see. Well, UAPX, yeah, they did contact me about underwater UFO activity off the Southern California coast. And, I do get calls from TV every now and then, which is exciting. But no Congress members have ever called me. I don't know what I would do if that happened, but that would
Yeah.
be certainly an interesting development.
Well, and you would think, right? Because you would hope that they would go to where the data is being held if they're really trying to genuinely uncover this thing or figure out what this is. You would figure they would go to the source.
Yeah, well, that's what
So
when you say if they really wanted to, well, there's the problem. I don't think they do. Our government's really, no.
exactly. So how do you feel about like and I think I probably know the answer to it, but the whole narrative of these scientists and these people that are connected to the government that make statements like we can only take this data. We experiencer data doesn't mean anything. Like, how does that make you feel? I know that has to make you feel some kind of way when they take stands like that because it doesn't even make sense for them to say that.
Yeah, it's frustrating. I mean, Dolly Saffron, she's got an enormous amount of information, and they're not talking at all about contactees whatsoever.
Yeah, well,
Don't
there's a
want,
reason why.
yeah, they don't want to hear about the landing trace cases. Anything with real meat to it, no. Anything that is just ephemeral and perhaps ambiguous, that's what they latch on to.
Right.
Yeah.
You also have to remember something about the governments. They already know. They already
Yeah,
know who all the contactees are. They know what the stories are. They know where the truth lies. And they have their own narrative, and we're not included because we would contradict them all over the place. That's why.
Great, great. And you're totally right about that too. Here's one thing I've always thought about, right, with the government, and I know Dave even brought this up recently. Something I think about too is like when as far as there's always theories of okay, why isn't the government being straightforward with the information they know? Because obviously they know a lot. And one of the things I thought about was maybe the truth is going to bring on this ontological shock for everyone, and maybe potentially they have an idea of the fact that we are being abducted and taken. And you actually you've covered this, and you've pretty much covered every part of what we would talk about tonight. But you had UFO disappearances because I am under the belief potentially that part of the shocking truth or the thing that they say is somber is maybe the fact that they aren't bringing, when they abduct us, they're not bringing some of us back. So I know you've talked or spoken about that. What is your view on that?
well, there are a lot of missing people, missing 411, with David Paulides and all the other folks who are now looking into that. I think it's a real thing. I think there's probably a variety of causes, everything from runaways to human trafficking to people getting lost and what have you. And yeah, I think some people are being taken on board, consulting, visiting with the ETs, and electing to go live with them. I mean, I do have
Mm,
some of my own cases. I don't think it's a nefarious thing. I
okay.
think that this is something people choose to do. But I will say I did interview a lady up in Maine who said if the ETs told her if people should start disappearing from this planet, it's being done by us for the universal good. And when I interviewed Dolly, well, yeah, she was there when some people were taken on board and said, no, I don't want to go back. Is that right, Dolly?
Yes, absolutely. One of the people that I remember the most was a woman who was had a house fire, and she was going to die, and they pulled her out, and she was pretty badly burned by the time they got to her, and they healed her up and gave her a chance to get herself back together and understand what was going on and what they did and why they did it. And this took months, to accomplish for them with her because she was so badly burned. And they asked her, "We can bring you back, but it's going to be weird circumstances because they think you burned up in the house. They can't find you anywhere. You're gone to them." And she didn't have really family or anything, and she said, "Why can't I stay with you?" And they said, "That's a okay with us if you want to come with us." And he told her where she would go and how she would live, and she was okay. Let's do it. So she went with them, and she just let everybody believe she had died in the fire, and they couldn't find her. Um, Other circumstances, people sometimes contactees who know what's coming and they don't want to be here for it, they like to leave early also, or they want to learn, they have a path and they want to follow it with them, and they'll take them as well. And then
I would go. I would if they asked me.
and then there are people
I was
who
gonna
are
ask you.
massively going to die all at one time, and ET will come in and scoop a lot of them up if they have the chance, just to give them a chance to keep living. And that's happened. Preston has a couple of those. And
Yeah, there was a lady I interviewed, Pat Cates from Louisiana, who had an experience where she was taken on board and was rescuing all these people from this town in South America. And this is back in, let me see, 87 or 84, thereabouts, 86. But at any rate, all these people were being pulled onto this craft. She was helping them do it. And this volcano explodes and sweeps over the town, buries it in mud, kills a lot of people. And next thing she remembers, she's waking up the next morning in her home in Louisiana. I'm shortening it a little bit. It was a pretty involved experience. But she was telling her friend, "I had one of my weird UFO dreams. This one is really unusual," and explaining how she had participated in all of this. And her friend's like, "Turn on the TV, Pat. You need to look at the TV right now." Well, she did. And there was her, quote, UFO dream. Turned out the Nevado del Ruiz volcano had just exploded in Colombia. I've got the book on this case right back there somewhere. And 27,000 people were allegedly buried under this pyroclastic flow of mud and ice and debris. But some of them were clearly picked up because Pat Cates saw it happen and she participated. So yeah, she said probably 2,000-3,000 people who presumably are not being brought back. So that's, I think, happens a lot more than we realize. And individually, I mean, I've got some cases of individuals who chose to go live with the ETs, and they were declared missing persons by the police, still not found.
So you gave me some great to think about there, because when I'm thinking about it, I'm not thinking about the possibility, the fact that these people may have just agreed to go and said, "Hey, I don't want to come back here. Take me with you." And so that's actually pretty compelling when to think about, because yeah, okay, maybe some of these people just didn't want to come back. What how and I think you already said just a moment ago, but if it's you, and I guess Dolly for you too, if it's you, you get abducted and you have the choice, do you come back or do you go with them?
well, I can. That's a real easy answer for me. I was given the chance not to be here, and I decided to stay because I wanted to bring their messages forward, and I consider this my path, and so I grounded myself here for a while, and yeah, I was practically raised by them. I know where they are, what they do, and how they do it, and I would rather live with them than stay here. But it's more important. I'm from here too, and I want everybody to know the truth. So I stayed. But there are plenty more like me who have already optioned to leave and then come back at a certain time to help when
Yeah,
things get
I
rougher.
think given the opportunity, I would. And I
Yeah.
will say, because I've heard this from many contactees, and when Dolly said it, I'm like, well, this doesn't surprise me. A time may come when there is an existential crisis, and the sky will fill with craft, and we will all be given this choice, or those of us who are, there to take the opportunity, will be given the choice to go with them. And when you see what's going on around you, if it's an existential crisis, meaning, lots of tragedy going on around us,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean, I think most people would say, yes, let's get out of here. Because
Ooh.
it's a rescue. It's a worldwide rescue.
Yeah, in that case, I would definitely have to say yes. But it's just, like a person like myself, not having any prior contact with beings directly, I would have to wonder. I'm like, well, who are these guys, and is it gonna be okay when I go? And I'm just so used to Earth that I don't know if I would go. I don't know. I'm sure it's probably split 50-50 for people in the audience out there, but yeah, if stuff was hitting the fan here, then I would definitely say let's go for sure. So there's no doubt
Yeah.
about
Well,
that.
either way, I mean, we're immortal beings. So death is not what people think it is. We're going to be fine one way or the other.
Right.
So,
And I have a clue for you. If you see a craft come down and somebody like me opens the door and says, "Get on now," this is your chance to get out of here before really bad things start happening. Would you take it if you saw me?
Yeah. No, if I saw you, yeah, I'd be like, okay, well, yeah, I trust because
I'm
it's
human. Yeah,
yes, and it's a sense of comfort there. Yeah, so I would
right.
definitely
Well, there's a
come
lot more
aboard.
like me who will do that. Yes.
And I,
You won't be greeted by something you're afraid of. You'll be greeted
I'm
in a way
telling
that you
you,
understand.
yeah, a lot of contactees have
Yeah.
gotten this message.
you see, I talked about this a couple of days ago at a show on my other channel, and and maybe you guys can answer this. So there's so many species out there of extraterrestrial. We were kind of just playing with some thoughts of the human-like ones that are apparently here that are just mingling amongst us. Do you? And I'm pretty sure you may. I mean, you're more versed in this than I am. So, is there a specific species for sure that you can say that is walking among us, or I had a thought of maybe it's more of the ETs using consciousness to take control of a vessel, like a person, and then act as them in our society. Like, is there
No,
a little bit of both, or
no,
what's
not at
going on
all.
there?
No, 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 no. We're all autonomous beings, and so are they. We're also related to them. If you have DNA, you're related to ET. Absolutely related to them. They're all humanoid. They all have hands, feet, eyes, nose, mouth. They eat, they drink, they sleep, they go to the bathroom, they have children. We're all related. We're related to the animals on this earth by our DNA. They have the same DNA we do, it just dials up differently. Some of us are more sentient than others, but all beings alive are related. And so it's not a species, it is an ethnicity that you're talking about. And they are humanoid. We're Homo sapien sapien. They're Homo sapien, a little bit something else, but we're related. We can breed back and forth with them. They are us. We are them. We are all one, all of us. And
Yeah,
they do not take you over, ever.
no, I've never heard of ETs possessing a person. No,
Yeah.
demonic spirit, maybe something along those
Those
lines.
are scary. Yeah. They're real.
But
Yeah.
that's something else
Right.
entirely. But as far as ETs among us, yeah, I think some of the people walking around have a little bit of a different history than your average person, and did grow up perhaps on another planet, or are what we would think of as a human-looking extraterrestrial, or some cases, at least briefly, grays, who can put forth an image of being a human being if they want. So I think that is something we do have to consider, that not every person on this planet necessarily was born here.
Yeah, I can agree with that as well.
Mhm.
How many species are there out there? Would you say, if you had a number?
That I know about, that I've experienced. I haven't really actually done a count, but I've experienced close to 15, 16, 17, somewhere around in there. I
Wow.
have to really sit and think about it. Most of them are humanoid like we are, but a few dime out differently. Some look like dogs, humanoid dogs. Some look like humanoid cats or birds, humanoid. Some look like mantids. Funny thing about the mantids, I want to bring this up. If you ever get a really good look at one, they are not insectoids. They are human. They have skin. They have an inner frame like we do. They're just shaped. Their physiology looks a little bit different. And we have plenty of examples like that that's on this planet. Not all of us are exactly alike either. Some of us are very, very, very tall. Some of us have very, straight, thin limbs, thin bodies, that come close to approximating what a mantis might be like. That does exist here. We have people who are less than 3 feet tall. We have people who are, ginormous, looking like an Anunnaki. Okay. There's all types here. And it's because of our environments where we were raised, what kind of, the environment where the gravity, the amount of oxygen we were breathing, whether we were in the sun all the time or not, we all look differently. There's no, our race is Homo sapiens sapien. We look different because our genetics use different codes to protect us from the environments that we're living in. So we look different. There's nothing wrong with that. It's normal. Okay. And it is with ET as well. They have lots of ethnicities among them. Lots.
Yeah, it's almost infinite because when I talk to people, yes, I hear mostly grays, but there's variation there for sure. But praying mantis, human looking, tall whites, little blue beings. And from there, there's kind of a catch-all category. I keep getting these very tall 8, 9, even 10 to 12 foot humanoids
Right.
who look basically human, but very large chin perhaps, or large forehead, or spiky hair, or just slightly,
Yeah.
different.
I mean, you'd figure, obviously, with billions of other habitable planets with life, that, yeah, I mean, that's very likely. But what do you think when you see something like the jellyfish UAP? What are your thoughts on that?
Doesn't exist. It's not real. It's
That
conjured.
wasn't
Yeah, it's not
okay.
real. Does not
Yeah,
exist. That's misinformation totally.
it's certainly not an
Absolutely.
ET craft.
No,
There,
Right.
no.
it could possibly, I looked at the footage, and I've got some serious questions about it because I keep saying, oh, this one that's going on all over the internet, that it came out of the water, but they're not showing us that footage.
No.
And if you see it, it's moving along very much like a balloon would.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know. I don't think that has anything to do with ET.
Not at all.
And while there are cases of people who see UFOs with what looks like stuff dangling down, that could be pareidolia of uh, light beams or even little devices coming down or what have you. But the jellyfish UFO, I'm not convinced it's anything extraterrestrial. I'd be more inclined to believe it's another government doing a spy balloon type thing.
Okay. Now, what if the video, and I'm assuming at some point it has to come out, they say it exists, but what if you see the video and you see it perform some sort of anomalous move, like it goes into the water, like they say, 17 minutes, and then comes out and shoots off at a rapid pace? Then does that change your outlook on it, or is it just based off of what you've seen right now that you don't think there's anything to it?
Well, the shape of it, I mean, it just does not match anything I've ever heard of in
Yeah.
terms of ET.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, if they've got footage, show us.
So
Right.
I
Quit
was gonna
saying
Not
you
that
ask you
have it and
that.
then don't produce it. There's a lot of that going around, and it's annoying. You know.
and frankly, footage is not much use unless you have an eyewitness testimony to back it up.
Right.
Uh,
Mm-hmm.
because you see all that just covering the internet. Like, look what I saw. Well, what I want to know is, when did you first see it? How did it move away? How long did you see it? Were there other people there? Stand behind your footage.
Right. Not to mention, if you're a real investigator, the very first thing you want to know is, where did that footage come from? Who owned it first? That's the person you want to talk to. And then you want that footage so that you can prove it one way or another. Okay. And unless you produce that person, that footage, and witnesses, don't even, it's not even worth thinking about. It's like gossip. You can gossip all day long. It doesn't make it real, you
Yeah.
know?
So let me ask you this, because, and obviously, I mean, along this path that we're going, I mean, we're figuring a lot of things out. Or at least we're trying to. We're talking a lot of these things through to try to get to the best answer that we can get. And I'm just gonna throw this out there, and that maybe you can relate this to, because with your extensive research on just various things here. Do you feel, is there a part of this phenomenon that to where these things we see, I'll just use jellyfish UAP for, just say that thing is something anomalous. Are you seeing, because from my own sighting, and then with that, and a couple of other examples, there are times that it feels like that these things that we're seeing are not craft, like you stated, but more like living things. Like, are there cases that you've researched where instead of craft, you're seeing potentially something living or biological, similar to what they portrayed in the movie Nope, right? With these ships that are actually living things. Have there been cases like that? Anything you might be able to tell us about?
Not like an animal or anything like that.
Yeah.
But it's a trick question because this was something I ran into very early. Contactees would tell me, like, I felt like this UFO was alive while looking at, what's clearly a craft, and being taken on board and touching the side of it and feeling like, gosh, this feels like a living being, or communicating with it in some extent. And that I kept running across. And so I was so happy when I met Dolly, and she's like, well, to a certain extent, that is correct. They are partly biological, they are embodied. So yes, they are in essence alive, but
Yeah.
not quite in the way we think of it.
Right. These crafts are manufactured to host an entity that has no body of its own. And they're usually in the fifth dimension. They're non corporeal, fifth dimensional beings. They're very, very established, wise, very evolved from us. And they're capable of indwelling that craft. And the reason that they use that medium is so that they can come into this dimension. Fifth dimensional beings can't just slide in here anytime they feel like it. Okay, can't happen. But they are so technically advanced, a lot of the ET that exist in the third dimension work with them to get here so that they can come here. That's how they were first given the chance to start traveling the universe. And this is millennia and millennia and millennia ago. All the ETs use these type of crafts, and they are all indwelled into biological machines. They are incapable of taking your body over. They can't unindwell and then go indwell you. That's not how that works. You own your own body. Your DNA is yours. You're locked into it. Nothing can get you. Okay? That's a misnomer. That's misinformation. These beings are only facilitators bringing third dimensional beings here so that we can help each other, work together. You've been left out of so much knowledge in this iteration that we're all living in, and that's one of the things the governments don't want you to know. They want you to be
Yeah, but on the other
unavailable.
hand, UFOs can put on a little show for you. I mean, they can make you, well, they can basically, I don't want to say shapeshift, but to a certain extent,
They
they
are
can put on
regular
the appearance
fish. Yeah,
of whatever they want to. So you
right,
might see a cloud, you
right,
might see a bird, you might see a plane, or just about anything they can
right.
put forth.
Yeah,
And this is not hypnosis so much. This is them actually putting forth that image, as far as
yeah,
I can tell.
yeah. The entire skin inside and out of a craft has light cells in it, like a cuttlefish. Okay, and the
Mm-hmm.
entity inside is smart enough to make it a ray to mimic things like clouds, like trees, like cars, like planes. You know, they can hide in the atmosphere from us that way. The only way that you know that they're there is if you have advanced technology and you can pull them up on either heat or radar. Some types of radar can pull them up and see them. They know where they're at. One of the reasons that the government likes the fact that they've got all those satellites above us is they use that technology to spot them in space and down here as well. It's a giant array around the Earth. Have you ever looked at a map of how many satellites are over your head
Mm.
globally?
Yeah, yeah.
It's massive. Massive.
Crazy.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thousands. It's
Yeah. They
crazy.
know what's going on. They've known what's going on for a long time. So,
Wow. So okay, so at the end of 2023, we had Admiral Tim Gallaudet, who came and shocked me last week of the year, and stated that with certainty that the government is in contact with these extraterrestrials. That was pretty shocking to hear from someone in the military. If this is true, which race of ETs would be the ones potentially that are in contact, if you have any clue about that?
It's hard to speculate about something about that because that's a very vague statement on his part. He is saying something, he's broadcasting an idea to you, not a statement. He's not giving you official information. So that's the first thing you need to take into consideration. ETs have been communicating with people all over this planet for centuries. It's in all our history, it's in hieroglyphs, it's everything, even in the Bible. Okay. They do communicate with us. They have tried to communicate with the governments on this planet, but they're not really been in what they call detente with them because they want what ET has, and ET is not going to give it to them. The only way the governments have gotten anything from the ETs is when there's a crash, and we're brilliantly good at back engineering anything. We're very smart. We're related to them. Boy, oh boy, we got brains. Okay, but no, there's no detente between ET and the governments of the world. They won't have anything to do with them. As a matter of fact, ET decided to go the other way and show themselves to everybody else. That's why they don't want you to talk to experiencers, because experiencers all over this world have way more information about them than they do. But they don't want to lose their control over everything and everyone here.
Now, there was a world leader, I'm going to butcher his name, Kirsan Ilyumzinov, who was part of the, Republic of Kalmykia in Russia, who did claim to have contact, taken on board by human-like ETs. I did a whole study of world leaders who've had contact. And I was really impressed by his story. He went public with it. If you look him up, you can find. And he had a full-on onboard experience.
As an experiencer, correct?
Yeah.
Not in an official capacity, as a private experiencer, correct? Yep.
Right.
Okay.
If you look at, world leaders, because the president of Brazil had an encounter, president of Mexico, of course, our own presidents, Reagan and Carter, both had sightings. We've had plenty of senators, representatives, and governors who've had really impressive sightings. So I think there's a level of communication going on, but I don't think that reporting on so-called Granada Treaty or things like that have any validity whatsoever. The ETs would never trade technology to a corrupt government that abuses technology. So we have to be really careful when we put forth those ideas.
Right. Now, I will give you a couple for instances, and Preston is very well versed in this, and I'll let him talk about it after I say it. They have communicated in a way that the governments on this planet know better than to do certain things, and one of them has to do with nuclear proliferation. They have shown them, and the United States is not the only country in this planet where they've shut down silos and turned them off. Deliberately shown them, don't do it. Okay, that's a form of communication that's absolute. There's no brainer in this one. If I can turn your missiles off and keep turning them off and break all your fail safes, you need to think about what you're doing. That is a clear message, correct? Okay, you go, Preston.
Yeah, well, I would cite, of course, the Malmstrom case of March 1967, which, Robert Salas, of course, was the first whistleblower on, but I got to interview a guy, Mel Hansen, who was there with his maintenance team. And he was the only one topside. His whole team was down on one of the missile sites when these UFOs showed up on that day, or that night, rather. And he saw it come over the missile site, shut it down. It immediately went back online with its first fail-safe, which was a diesel generator, but that went offline. Second fail-safe kicked in, which was a battery, and that was knocked offline. So ETs will do stuff like that in basically slapping people's hands. I can only imagine that the top brass of Malmstrom were losing their minds when that's going on. And from a military perspective, that had definitely had to be very alarming, but I don't think it was hostile by any means. They're on top of anything nuclear and sending this message over and over and over again, not only to contactees who are taken on board, but to the actual, missile sites. There was another, if I can, real brief, the Indian Point nuclear power station, I think that's what it's called, in upstate New York. Philip Imbrogno did a whole chapter on this in one of his books about the Hudson Valley Wave. They had a visitation of this UFO which hovered for 20 minutes, was caught on film. The film is out there somewhere. We haven't seen it. But they checked the power plant that this craft was hovering over and found it had a crack or a fault in it. So I think that's the message there. Like, this is dangerous. You need to look at this. And I've got personal cases of this. They're very concerned about our use of nuclear material, and they are communicating that.
And when I look at it's obviously the face explanation of why they may be visiting these nuclear sites, and the general idea is that it's they're trying to tell us not to use nuclear weapons. So when we go back, I mean, obviously these things have been here for a while. So the questions I have would be, as far as the nuclear and just atomic situation goes, is that some questions that I had was like, okay, I could see them coming here to tell us no nukes, because nukes are obviously bad, they'll end the planet. Now, the question I would have is, then why would they stand around and allow the atomic bombs to be dropped in Japan? That's just a question I would have, and why they would sit back and watch that happen. And it kind of makes me feel more like they may have intentions on, I mean, maybe you can clear this up, intentions on containing us here, not wanting the nuclear weapons that we have to be taken out of this planet or off world.
I think that is a concern. But I asked Dolly about that.
All right, I got
an answer.
You got an answer. Here it comes. We're autonomous. We're here together on this planet. We're supposed to be working together to evolve. Okay? Mm-hmm. And every problem that's here, we created. It's our fault. Mm-hmm. They do not want us to destroy ourselves. That's the last thing they want. Nuclear bombs can go through dimensional space. Wherever you set one off, it's ripping through space dimensionally. Okay? So there are lots more things suffering as a result. That's your karma. It's the whole planet's karma. We're all responsible for that. Now, here's another thing I want you to think about. It's in your statement. If they can turn it all off, what makes you think they're afraid of you sending it to space? Okay? Think this one through. It doesn't matter a whit whether you send it to space or not. If they want to take it out, they will. And they can. Mm-hmm. And they have. Because we've got lots of stuff up there already that you don't know is there. And they're doing it every day. Right. Don't mess around with this in your head. Don't take the negative approach to this. They're not the ones with the problem. We are. Period.
Yeah, and I think when it comes to things like Hiroshima and Nagasaki, well, what would have happened if they had stopped that? How would have that been perceived? Would we have learned about the dangers of nuclear war and this sort of thing? We are making our own bed. It's up to us to solve our own problems. They've said it over and over again. I've got case after case after case of it, not only of my own, but from other researchers across the world. Mm-hmm. People have said, why don't you just come down? And over again, they say, we can't. It's up to you to solve your own problems. You are in a much better position than we are. That's what they will tell you.
Oh man, it's a slippery slope, man. Because I for sure there's this thing. We haven't figured this thing completely out, and there's still unanswered questions that apply to the phenomena. And there will come a day, which will be the day that we have our confirmation for everyone on the globe, that we will at that moment find out the true intent of these ETs. But what we're going to do real quick is right now we're running into a break. So ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and pause for the cause and take our first break of the night. And then we'll be right back in hour number 2 with our fantastic guests, Preston Dennett and Dolly Safran. We will be right back. Yes, welcome back to Spaced Out Radio after hour number 2 with me, your host, Mr. Rob G. As we go ahead and jump back in with our guest for the night, Mr. Preston Dennett and Dolly Saffron. So, just wanted to go ahead and jump into some things here. So, okay, we talked about the nuclear aspect of this. You have a video. I think you did this over a year ago, titled "Saved by Aliens." Right, 12 benevolent encounters. So 12 awesome, great encounters. Could you kind of go over some of those? Because the general consensus is they're here to protect us and save us. But could you talk specifically about some of those encounters you covered?
Yeah, well, one that comes to mind from that particular episode video involved a gentleman who went snowmobiling in this town in, I believe it was Montana, which is, I forget the name of the town, honestly, but it's known as the snowiest place in the United States. It's this little town where everyone who wants to do major snowmobiling goes. And he's snowmobiling along and is getting ready to head home when a UFO appears ahead of him. He's like, well, that's odd. And he starts following it, and it leads him to this group of people who had gotten lost in this blizzard because it was majorly blizzarding. It was a complete whiteout. The only reason he wasn't lost is because he knew the area super well. And he followed this UFO and came upon 3 people who were in a state of hypothermia at this point. And at that point, the UFO left, and he was able to guide these 3 people home, or to safety, I should say. And that's there's many, many cases like that. I think there was another case from that same collection, which took place in Vietnam, actually, during the Vietnam War, where a group of soldiers had become trapped by the enemy, the Viet Cong, I think it was, and were looking at, a bad situation. And that's when a UFO dropped down right over them and scared off the other, the Viet Cong, and they were able to get to safety. So I don't know if you would classify that as a rescue or not, but that's how they certainly perceived it. Yeah. So I have to respect that because this was their experience. And this
is the motorcycle lady on the mountain with the flat tire, or it was twisted.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite cases ever, actually, because this lady I interviewed personally, and she was driving her motorcycle through the Watchung Mountains of New Jersey back in, I think this was the late 1960s, early 70s, thereabout. And this was one of those old motorcycles which had a Kickstarter, not just a simple button ignition. Mm-hmm. So she's driving along, and this is a very remote area, late at night, and crashes her bike, slides it. And thankfully she's fine, but she's now trapped in the mountains. No other cars are likely to drive by. It's quite cold. So she's in a real situation and doesn't know what to do. And this is when she said her, quote, friends showed up. All her life she'd had encounters. Didn't really remember being taken on board so much. Did have missing time. Did see UFOs. Would wake up as a little girl with figures coming in and out of her room, and her clothes being on backwards or inside out or this sort of thing. Sticks and leaves in her beds. So she knew she was having encounters and some vague memories of being on board, but nothing really solid. So she crashes her bike and she's wondering what she's going to do. And these 2 figures showed up. And she said, they looked almost human, but they were probably what we would call human gray hybrids, because they did have big, dark, black eyes, white, pale skin, large, bald heads, and were wearing what she thinks is jumpsuits. She's not sure. She says they might not have had any clothes on at all. But after talking to her, I'm pretty sure that there were jumpsuits. And about 5.5 feet tall, if that, 5 feet tall, 2 of them. And it's so interesting because what they did is walked right up to her motorcycle. She's about 5 feet away from them. She stepped back. One lifted up the motorcycle. The other looked at her and cautioned her to just stay where she was. And this first one bent down and started working with the motorcycle. The thing is, the Kickstarter had been bent out of shape to the point where she couldn't start her bike. So it fixed that manually with its hand. She did not see any tools. Took only a few moments. They set the bike up, motioned for her to get back on, stepped back when she did, and started the bike right up, and off she went. Never saw a UFO. They didn't communicate with her that she's aware of. She regrets now not saying, something to them and trying to initiate a little bit more of a conversation. But she said it was actually kind of scary because these were not human. But they saved her. I mean, there's so many cases like this. It's amazing. People saved from drowning, from falling off cliffs, from assault, from weather. I mean, from car accidents. Got quite a few people rescued from car accidents. This is something they will do and intervene.
See, and that's cool. That's awesome to know. And that's why I wanted to ask that, because I would, it's just when we talk about benevolent versus malevolent, there's just usually the blank statement of, oh, they're here to protect us. But to hear actual cases of them actually intervening and assisting, kind of, it just gives you a good feeling about the outlook on potentially where this could be leading. So that's great to hear. Now, I did a show the other day on my own channel about why are they here? Just kind of spitballing with the audience and just trying to figure out, just looking at some common sense sort of logic things and just looking at the earth just in general, and how we all know that 95% of our oceans haven't are unexplored. But as far as land goes, we've explored all but about 10%. So looking at the total Earth itself, I think it came out to like, which shocked me actually, it came out to like 65% of the Earth itself is unexplored by humans, meaning that there's a great chance that something could be here and had been here this whole time, and we just would never know, because we haven't even explored 50% of the planet that we live on. So with that being said, as far as USOs go, or species that might have inhabited this planet or currently inhabit this planet and have been here long before us, do you have any idea on what species or race that would be of ET?
Well, I've got some opinions on that, and I know Dolly does too. You want to start first, Dolly?
Sure. All right. Earth has cycles. The sun has cycles. Our entire galaxy has cycles. And we're going through one right now. And you're all being warned about it, from the Bible to Muhammad. Everybody's warning you that something's about to happen. People already have that feeling. In these cycles, there's an ending and then a beginning right afterwards. I refer to them as iterations. Whole populations of us are taken and brought back so that we're not in that cycle. We survive it somehow, and they bring people back. It takes a long time for that to happen. I mean, it just doesn't happen overnight. Most of the people who go from this, who are picked up by them, are taken to live somewhere else, because the earth is going to take about, I don't know, a long time to get itself back together enough for humans to be sustainable here again. We are since we've been on Earth, we're probably at about the 280th iteration every 12,000 years of humans being here. And each iteration has a chance to develop a society and learn while they're here and evolve. Okay. Mm-hmm. If you think about it as a whole, us now, we're not doing too good. All right.
Right.
And there are things that you don't know because you're not taught. There's plenty of proof out there. You just have to be diligent and resourceful and try to figure it out. There are a lot of mainstream scientists out there who are telling the truth. You just got to figure out who they are, and then do a lot of detective work for yourself. The oceans are vast and deep, but they are no place to live. An air-breathing entity does not live under the ocean. They don't have There's nothing under there for them. No colonies, no nothing. They can congregate there when they're getting ready to massively do something. When they come into Earth's atmosphere, they're cooling off. They're thousands and thousands of degrees hot because of the type of energy that they use, and they cool off before they come up to come anywhere near us because it's just too bloody dangerous to be near humans with that kind of radiation running full out. They have watched us. They are our progenitors. That means that they are our parents. We are all related to them, all of us. That's not a joke. That's for real. They have lived on this planet with us. They have come and they have gone, and especially during different periods of our history in our iteration, you have plenty of examples where they've interacted with people and left tried to teach them and give them help. Right now, we're not okay enough for that to happen, especially with everything that's going on. USOs, which Preston has a lot of research data on, tons of it, shows a lot of that happening, and he can tell you what he's understood about it. I can tell you what I know about it, and that's pretty much is that water is not a portal. They don't portal anywhere on this planet. They use light gates to move between places, and they're interdimensional gates. They are not what you would consider in any way what you think a portal is. It's not true. It's misinformation. We have energy fields here, and they use them. They love our electricity. They will recharge their batteries on power lines and things like that. But that's simple science. You should have already figured that out by now and understood it. The pyramid was a giant battery that shot electricity up out of the top of it so that they could charge on it. Tesla was given everything that he knows about it so that we could learn to use electricity in a way that would benefit us without screwing the planet up and then help them come and go. But of course, the governments of this world took that away, didn't they, and hid it. Then they're not using it. They're not openly using it. They're allowing other stupid stuff to go on. And it all has to do with them wanting something from us so that we work for them. I mean,
yeah, there's a lot of USOs, actually. Yeah. I think our oceans, and for that matter, our lakes and rivers, do have an enormous amount of USO activity, far more than I would say the general public for sure is aware of. And having talked to some Navy personnel, it's not as uncommon as you might think. I did have a very interesting interview with a gentleman by the name of Ray Sachs, who was on board the USS Clamagore when a USO showed up and paced this submarine, which was carrying nuclear torpedoes, by the way. But I think we hear probably about 1%, if that, of those kinds of encounters. The ETs have been here, we know this, since recorded history, because you can see this in everything from cave paintings to hieroglyphs to ancient Roman writings, the ancient writings of India, the Vimyanas. And some of these do point to different species, like beings with dog heads or different types of, the Anunnaki, of course.
Right.
And reptilians is a good example of what I would think would better be termed a crypto-terrestrial. Beings who have lived here longer than us and are still here. And not all are ETs as we think of it, because there are interdimensional beings as well. In my latest book, Humanoids in High Strangeness, I interviewed a gentleman who saw what he believes is an elf. And after interviewing him, I think he saw an elf too. And I put his story out, and I got a huge response from other people who had seen elf or gnome-like or fairy-like beings. So, of course, Bigfoot, I don't know that I would call it an ET, but it's certainly sentient. It's a different, type of humanoid that's been living here as long as we have, at least. So I think there's a lot going on that we're still trying to categorize and label. But we're all ETs in a sense, because I'm not so sure we evolved here.
I don't think so either. Yeah. What's your theory on that? On where we may have evolved? What's your theory?
My theory is that we came from somewhere else. And I started thinking that almost immediately because of the reports of human-like ETs. The fact that they look just like us. Started to hear reports of that we were formerly on Mars. And I never really knew what to make of that until Dolly said it. And I'm like, well, here we go again. Another contactee saying this. I think we're throughout the universe, honestly. And we've been humans as a species, or an ancestry, as Dolly likes to put it, have been around forever and are populated throughout the universe.
Right. And just to say this, we are not a planet where we're being punished, okay? Not at all. Everybody has to learn and evolve and reach wisdom, understanding, employ the knowledge that they have. And we're at a very low point right now. We could go higher if we wanted to. We just have to decide to do that. I would give good advice here. I would tell people to quit worrying about what the ET agenda is. They have not done anything to us that should have ever made you wonder what was wrong with them. But there is gossip on this planet. There is outright lying going on by the powers that be here. And I can take you back to religions that warn you to be afraid of a God who's got a big stick and he's going to send you to hell. That's fear of something to control your mind. And if you think that there's a big bunch of ETs coming to whoop your butt, you're going to still be afraid. You're going to be worried and thinking what they want you to think instead of thinking for yourself. Okay. And in essence, they've made everybody here mental slaves to them. And we need to stop now.
We know what the ET agenda is. If you look at all the researchers and you collate all the contactee cases, it's pretty clear. It's 4 or 5 main goals that the ETs have. One is to absolutely announce their presence. And I say that because of the huge waves of sightings that have occurred all over the planet, the hundreds of schoolyard encounters, the hundreds of encounters over drive-in theaters, the sightings to small groups of people, to large groups of people. That is one thing that they want people to know, is we're not alone. A second would be people are taken on board and given a physical checkup. This is the single most common reported onboard experience. And what is going on there? Yeah, they're collecting genetic material, but it's more than that. And we dive deep into this in Dolly's book, Symmetry. What it's really all about is healing and protecting our genetic code. That is a major agenda on part of the ETs, is healing. Furthermore, it would be educating. They will take you down to the engine room and tell you, this is how we fly our craft. There are other energy sources. You don't need to use fossil fuels. They will actually guide you in your own life path. So teaching is absolutely one of their goals. Another would be warning. And if you have a conversation with ETs beyond, don't be afraid, you're going to be okay, there's no reason to fear, no harm will come to you, they will tell you that we are on the wrong path. They'll warn you about nuclear proliferation, 1, war and aggression, 2, greed and corruption, pollution, and the destruction of the environment. That's what they're concerned about. And beyond that, I'd say the other main agenda is waking us up to who we are and our own abilities. They're dead set on this, trying to get people to use telepathy, their intuition, to practice astral projection, mediumship, hands-on healing, all the things we can do, levitation. I mean, we can do crazy stuff.
Right.
And ETs are doing it. A lot of what people think is technology is not necessarily technology. ETs walking through walls and levitating and things like this.
Yeah.
This is what they are trying to do. And, this is what my research has found. And I would point to John Mack and Barbara Lamb and Ray Hernandez and Edith Fiore and a bunch of other researchers out there. Timothy Good, I like his stuff. Some researchers, I think, are very fear-based. And I understand that. It can be scary, but I don't think they're here to take over.
Right. I would like to make a point here.
Yeah,
okay?
definitely.
Our governments all over the world are employing psychic ability. They have people who can remote view, and they use it against us. They have people who are psychic and can hear things and know things before anybody else does. If they're using and employing it, has it not dawned on anybody that we're giving them the ability over us to do something that we have the ability to do as well? They're hiding the truth from us, and that's a big deal. We don't know what the truth is. You don't know it because you're not using your psychic abilities. If you did, you would know the truth, literally know the truth. And that's what ET means by wake up. We want you to wake up to your abilities so that you will know the truth, period. Exactly that. Okay. And then everything else will come into view to you, and you'll be able to see the forest for the trees at that point, because there's so much going around on everybody, and there's so much being talked about that nobody can zero in on the point or the true messages from them and what they mean to us. It's not what their agenda is against us. It's what do they mean to us? What do we mean to them? You need to be asking those questions, because nothing in the history has talked about them slaying people or attacking anybody or causing any problems. And yet they watch over us, they do things for us, they help us, and we're not recognizing that at all. We're not taking that into account at all. And
Boy, the world would be so different if we were all telepathic.
Yeah.
Just imagine what that would be like. We could really start electing leaders who have our best interests in mind.
right.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, because I'm totally with you on that, and I know that there's I do feel that they are waiting for the moment that we all wake up and unlock these abilities that we have. Before I ask this next question, I do want to talk to the audience and let you guys know that you guys can start throwing those questions in. I've already compiled a bunch of them, because Sav came through like he always definitely does. So I got a list of questions, but any further questions, definitely put them in caps so we can go ahead and ask them. Now, with that being said, so yeah, I'm with you, and I totally feel like the process that we're going through, even though there's a lot of people that get hung up with the government wanting to be the mediator or the facilitator in this process, that they really don't have any power or authority in this is really the ET show, and it's up to them when they will show themselves to all of us at one time. So with that being said, because they've been kicking around, I'm sure you've heard the term, the control versus catastrophic disclosure. And to me, I feel like that's a nothing burger, because the controlled disclosure, which would be the government's way of implementing disclosure, I don't even think matters really. And I'm really team catastrophic disclosure. I would not mind if ETs were to just show up tomorrow in force and kind of awaken everyone at the same time. And it sounds like you guys are pretty much feeling the same way, right? So the government has nothing to do with, no sort of control over the narrative. It's not up to them at all whether we get to disclosure or not. Am I correct to assume
Sort
that?
of. I want to give you a message that was given to me to give to y'all. All right. It's from my contact, Halada. Okay. And this is what he says, and I'm reading it word for word. He says, disclosure from those in authority over humans will always, oh God, here's my aside, will always tactically use plausible deniability. Their agenda supersedes all humanity. Our reality is their construct. It is their power and its weaponization which impugns all explanation to humanity. Therefore, learn all that is learnable. Understand each of us must use our abilities to discern our position in this paradigm. Wisdom is your freedom from their tyranny. Quote, end quote. That is what he said. That is ET's opinion about what's going on with us and what disclosure means to us. And it is not coming from them at all.
I like it.
I don't think we need to look to our governments for disclosure. Disclosure has happened. Look at the turkey footage. Look at how many photographs do you need? How many landing trace cases? How many documented sightings? We have close to 1 million documented encounters from places like MUFON and Newfork and NICAP and APRO in just the United States. If you take it worldwide, we're approaching 1 million documented UFO encounters. Disclosure has happened. The evidence is there, no doubt. I don't think we need to look to our governments, because I don't think that they have any intention of ever disclosing. And the ETs have certainly done their part. It's really up to us to think critically about all the evidence that's out there and look to the contactees, not the governments. I hate to say it, I just don't trust them. I just don't.
Yeah, I'm with you on that too. And this is what I said because, like I said, I did a show on why they're here, and I really what I wanted to do was talk to skeptics and kind of show them that hey, we've already had these moments that you can consider disclosure. They're already there, and kind of went through some of those moments, and and pointed out some cases that would be considered almost 99.9% proof that this is a real thing and is what is really happening. And I feel like we've already had the White House, the UFO on the White House lawn moment with like Phoenix Lights and Ariel School and Westall School and cases like that where it's been pretty much you might as well say proven that these events happened. So really, I think with the government's whole thing about what they are trying to do, they're not really holding back information per se. They're just trying to distract us from the proof that we already have out there. You know what I mean? If they would just not say a word and kind of sit back and we just viewed all the evidence and like the cases that you've compiled, Preston, and all the work that you've done, you can pretty much say just that's your proof positive right there that this has already happened, that disclosure has happened, like you said. So,
Yeah, I don't think if they were to show up that people would freak out as much as our governments would like us to believe. I think most people already believe that it's a real thing going on. People
definitely.
would take it right in stride. Like, look, there they are. I told you. I've seen them before.
Definitely. And what we're going to do, because I have a stack of questions here, let me go ahead and jump into this first one. Looks like let me start with Sav because he has a few in here. Actually, a handful. Okay, so let's start with this one. Sovereign Cosmic Wildman, you covered a case where a lake monster reappeared at a lake where it previously been dry. Do you think it's coming from underground or is it a water the portal?
Yeah, I think there's a couple of them in California. Lake Elsinore at one point completely dried up, but people reported seeing Elsie, a snake-like lake monster, there after this lake was replenished. I've got a couple of theories about that. I think it's possible that perhaps there were eggs or something laid in the sand. I mean, I don't know. I don't think so much it's a portal. Could very well be that there's underground caverns connecting some of this stuff. I don't know. Perhaps a UFO came down and dropped a being in the lake. I can't discount that. Dolly probably has some opinions about that. But yeah, I do know of that. There's a lot more cryptids out there than people realize. California has 4 or 5 lakes alone with these sort of things going on. But no, I don't think it's a portal.
And to kind of add to that, I want to say it was Deb Shakti that I interviewed the other day, and it just makes me think of that. She talked about a situation where there was a craft observed coming up out of a lake, which was a huge craft, hundreds of feet. I think she said like a couple hundred feet long, and this lake was no more than 20 feet deep. So it was just a question of obviously it wasn't just sitting in the lake. And the question was, did it come from beneath the surface of the earth? Is it when they go
They
into
can
the
do
water?
that.
Are they, yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah. So
They can
that's
go
where the
right into the
portal.
ground.
Yeah. So is that what you think? So on the USO cases, I guess they'll sidebar real quick. So because I don't believe when these UFOs go into the ocean, I don't believe that they're just sitting on the floor of the ocean. It doesn't make sense. This volcanic activity is way too volatile, to just sit there. So it would make sense if they were going deeper than that into the crust, and that's just obviously
Uh,
a theory.
well, no, they wouldn't go into the crust. And most of the time, like I said before, they're coming in to cool off, period. And if she saw it coming out of the lake, it came in so fast she didn't see it come in, take a dip, and go back out. That she would have seen. They literally have to cool off the skin of that craft. You have to understand 17,000 degrees is very hot, and it is dangerous, and it has an area that it occupies that energy. And if it came in, anything in that area is subject to being burned up or radiated to the point of death, including everything around it. So, yeah, they're going to drop in, cool off, and come out. That's what they do. They'll sometimes assemble if they're working on a mission. They'll look at something like a volcano or, Earth. Our poles are changing right now, and they're literally watching that happen. They take readings on it. They're scientists as well. They don't just sit here and do nothing. They're constantly monitoring this planet and our solar system and what's going on with it physically and everything else. And sure, they're busy, busy, busy. We're also not bystanders here. We're people that they know are here, that they've watched over and taken care of. So if you see if you see a craft, I'm not going to call it a UFO, I call them craft. If you see an extraterrestrial craft coming in or leaving the water, there's a reason for it. There's either something down there that they're monitoring, or they've come down to cool off and take off. Going into the Earth's mantle is not a good idea for them either. It's not a really good idea.
Well, they can go into volcanoes too.
Yes, they can go through real quick. Yes, they can. And they monitor them that way. But not to go into the mantle. The electromagnetic fields down there are a bit much. When a field on the surface of the Earth goes haywire or wacky, it can cause them to crash. Why would they put themselves in that danger by going down into the crust? If you understand magnetism and mathematics and understand the mechanics of all this, then you get an idea of where they can and cannot go and why. And one of them is they're not going into the mantle of the Earth. They do not at all.
Well, maybe not terribly deep, but there are quite a few cases where they do go into the ground.
They can go through mountains as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or through trees.
Right.
Or
if they're in an
through a person's
mode,
house
they can go through almost anything, but they're not going into the mantle of the Earth. They do not at all.
Okay, and we have Sovereign Cosmic Wildman saying, you covered a case on a Malibu beach where a group of people encountered ETs on the beach. Also one in Carpinteria and more cases. Are there any more cases like this in SoCal?
Oh gosh, on the beach? I know, not that I can think of immediately offhand. I'm sure there are. I know the cases he's thinking of. There was one where there was a whole party of people. ETs came on the beach and were walking through a crowd of people. Most people didn't remember it, but it was a human-like ETs. There was another one in Playa del Rey, where 3 cars were stopped and they got out and there was a UFO landed on the beach. ETs came out. They had a little conversation. It's a classic case. It's been published in several books. I know there's another case involving a submarine, a USO with humanoids on top of it, which was seen by fishermen. There's quite a few cases like that along the coastal area, but all over the world too. I'm not sure I can think of any other specifically in Southern California, but give me some time to do some digging. I'm sure I could find a few.
Exactly. I know you can for sure. So the next question we have is from Christine, who's asking, has Preston and Dolly seen any UFOs or ETs lately?
Nope. No. I'm in contact, but I haven't seen them. And if I had, I wouldn't tell you about it because it's really weird things going on right now anyway. But and it would be an emergency situation. They are not here. They left. They bugged out about 2 years ago, fully bugged out, all of them. And they had to because our electromagnetic magnetosphere is 40% down now, and they would crash almost every day. They can't take the chance of that. They've backed off. They're outside our solar system. They're way far away from us.
Yeah, last one I saw was about 3 years ago. Just a light mostly, but it was unusual.
Yeah, if you see something in the sky, you need to question it because it's probably back engineered. They have a lot of them, very busy,
Okay, this next question is going a little deep here. We got SRCX Climate Research asking, okay, great. What is your scientific postulation? Let's talk propulsion systems, time-space manipulation, matter, antimatter, warp drives, fusion versus fission drives. So I don't know where you can take that, but that's the question.
Okay, well, antimatter is a no-no in our universe. In the third dimension, antimatter can't exist here. Negative antimatter would instantly be negated by positive matter, and they proved that at CERN. They were trying to create antimatter. They got about 7 protons of it in a stasis field, and it wasn't long before they went. Pfft. They tried to do it again, and again pfft, they went. They can't contain it. They can't create it. Not going to happen. If you do the math on it, you understand that our third dimension can't hold negative antimatter. It doesn't exist here because we are all positive antimatter. So it doesn't, no such drive system as that. Warp drive, no such system. You can't make a warp with magnetism. You can do things where you react with it or interact with it, but you can't create warp. Warp is a natural phenomenon, and it is energy on the on a level you couldn't play with. ET does use a type of electromagnetic energy, but it comes from electricity, and they burn a type of nuclear fuel that creates an electric response that is so great it becomes a graviton wave. And if you know anything about that or the thesis of it, graviton waves, it goes up through the center of the craft, and there are emitters, which creates a magnetic warp bubble around the craft. There are 2 of them actually, one inner one and one outer one. And that's what gets so hot when they're coming in. And that's how they fly outside our atmosphere. In our atmosphere, they can't use that. They go to batteries, and they have graviton wave ability on electrical batteries at that point. That's why they sap power lines before they leave, or they go looking for electricity to recharge their batteries so they can charge back up to leave our atmosphere and get out of here. It's a whole thing. Fission devices. Well, they use a type of fission, nuclear burning. It's a very small device. It doesn't take much because the material that they burn isn't from the third dimension. It comes in from the fifth. They bring it with them and they burn it. It is a type of energy that 100% uses itself up. There's no leftovers from it. There's no dirty fuel left behind. It totally negates itself out. And they bring it in packs, and once they use all the packs up that they're going to use on that trip, they go back because they have to resupply.
Now, there's no doubt our governments have reverse engineered ET tech to a certain degree in terms of using anti-gravity abilities. I don't think we have the abilities that the ETs do by any stretch of the imagination.
They have a version of it. They have small capabilities with it. It is not the same technology at all.
All right, and there's a couple more questions that had come through that I almost missed. Let me grab these real quick here. Okay, next question is from Sovereign Cosmic Wildman asking, can you explain how UFOs cause car accidents on the highways, and why is abductions out of cars being suppressed?
Well, I would first say that when someone has a car accident in association with a UFO, it's because they're not paying attention and they are perhaps distracted. I don't think UFOs are intentionally causing car accidents. I personally have never read or interviewed anyone who's said that, but all UFO information is being suppressed by our governments. And yes, people are lifted up in their cars all the time. There's a bunch of cases of that. ETs can lift you right out of your seat or take the whole car and plop it inside the craft. And our governments will not discuss direct contact, cases of direct contact. It's being suppressed. It's a real problem. But no, I don't think UFOs are causing intentionally car accidents. The opposite. I've got case after case after case of them preventing car accidents.
You would be lovely is if more people who have had contact to come forward and not be afraid of who's going to say what about you. They've spent years and years and years trying to make us all look like we're crazy, weird people out there, okay? We know it's real now because they've admitted it. That's time for us to, put the saddle on the horse and gallop into the reality place. Everybody speak up. Say what you know. Absolutely know yourself. Don't worry about what anybody else says. If you've got truth, speak it. Use your mouth. say something. We'll do a lot more for ourselves by doing that. It's one of the reasons I love the Light Gate, because we're trying to bring people on who can say their truth and
Yeah,
help everybody else understand.
But people have
exactly.
definitely had accidents when they see a UFO and
Yeah.
tried to outrun it. Perhaps I know
Yeah.
a case
Dumb
of
things.
that.
Yeah. Fear. Yeah.
People who have gone off the road. I talked to one lady who very nearly collided head on with a police officer who was not paying attention because a UFO was pacing both of them.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I'm under the belief that you look at ufology and experiencers, and we seem like we're such a small group, but I'm under the belief, as Dolly said, with more people that would just come out and say what they've experienced, that you realize that it's probably a majority of people who have actually had some sort of experience when we put the
Yeah.
numbers together.
some level of contact. It might be just a sighting or an inspiration or a telepathic message or direct contact. But the more I talk to contactees, they keep saying everyone has had some level of contact.
Yeah, that's gonna be awesome. Let me see. We have let's get Paramarv in here. Paramarv is asking, have either of you looked into the 5.5 minute alien broadcast, The Voice of Grandma, that interrupted a news show on live TV in the UK in November 1977? Are you familiar with that?
I do remember reading about that. I have not looked into it at any depth, but I know there are a number of cases where you know radio shows have been broken into or TV broadcasts, and it's not unique. There's a couple, I don't, I would say probably a dozen or so cases that I'm aware of where stuff like that has happened. I can't speak to that specific one, other than I do remember hearing about it.
Okay. And we have, let's see, another sovereign, Cosmic Wallman. I've heard in the past that military bases are usually built where there's always been subterranean ET bases. Could this be the case?
No. Military bases like to build their own subterranean caches. They're busy. They go underground. Everybody goes underground here. It's a thing. Everybody goes underground on this planet. And if you've got a military base, I guarantee you've got underground facilities that, if they're close enough, will connect to one another. Look out west. I mean, there's stuff underground all over the place. And if you pay attention to the news and what's going on, there are. Okay. They got stashes, caches. They're preparing for something. Think about that. Okay. No underground military ET bases. Not at all. None.
There are people who are taken into very large craft which are underwater, which they might perceive this as a base,
Right.
because there they are. You can look out the window and it's underwater, but it might not be a base as we would think of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think possibly in the past there were some, but I don't know.
Okay. And we have a couple more right here. We have Blake McCreary. Actually, I missed that one. Okay, where did that go? All right. We have to get to this one. Robert Anthony. What do they feel about the folding of space and time to link to distant parts of the universe?
Well, that's a theory that Einstein brought forth. Okay. And he's almost 100% correct. He didn't get a chance to finish it out, though, and explain it all the way out. What he was trying to describe to you was an interdimensional gate, a door. And what you do is, when you open the door, you have point A and you're going to point B. And they're very many miles apart, but you're going through an intersection of dimensional space to get you there in half a second. And it's called a light gate. And that's the theory of folding space and time together. And the bridge between those two is the light gate. They produce it. They create the gate to do it. That's their technology. Everything in their technology is light based. They use light technology.
Yeah, in a sense, it's like leaving the third dimension and then coming back into it
Right.
in another location.
Right.
Okay, and we have, let's see, Applesauce asking, could biological adaptation process on Earth be stronger than anything in the universe?
No, it's normal Every biological entity everywhere has the ability to adapt to almost anything that's in the DNA code itself, and it's universal throughout the entire universe. What we have to be careful here of is gamma radiation. And right now we're taking heavy loads of it because our magnetosphere is down 40%, and it is causing our DNA to deraz. In other words, we're seeing more cancer, more autoimmune disorders, more heart problems, more brain dysfunction, and that's all because we're taking really, really heavy loads of gamma. This is one of the reasons that ET has paid so much attention to us. They're trying to hold us up, and the healing, most of the healing that they've done is to keep our DNA strong enough to withstand what's coming at us right now. We have proof of that, by the way. NASA proved it. They had two astronauts, two brothers, identical twins, perfectly identical. One went up to the ISS a little over a year, a few days longer than that, maybe a month, and brought him back, and his DNA no longer matched his brother. He was damaged by it. All people who live in space, all people who fly airplanes, anybody who goes up high up in the air or outside our magnetosphere are in deadly danger of gamma radiation. And it will attack your DNA, derazes it, makes it fall apart.
Yeah, evolution is a thing. I don't think Darwin quite had it right. I'm not sure we evolved here.
No.
But this is why we called the book Symmetry, because this was one of the lessons the ETs really drove home to Dolly, is that there's life throughout the universe, and it has evolved in all these different sort of ways, which is very much similar to what we have here on Earth. So you will see pine trees on other planets.
Right.
And animals of all kinds that are very much like the ones here.
Absolutely.
All right. And we have, looks like the final question from Blake McCreary asking, why does Dolly believe that the craft can't survive beneath the Earth's crust, but most popular opinion is craft do traverse all domains? Yep.
Okay. Our Earth has its own magnetic core. It's very powerful, and it heats up, and it is disruptive to how ET flies around here. They use the magnetic currents of this Earth, or the field lines of the Earth, to navigate and fly upon them. They change their polarity to ride whatever line that they're on. Either it's a positive or a negative polarity. The reason it takes a driver like a pilot and the craft itself, the mind of that entity, working together is because everything happens very rapidly. They're not going to go anywhere where the magnetism is that strong. It can hurt them, it can down them, and they won't do it. And the core of our Earth is very, very strong magnetically, and it would disrupt their ability to go away from it, fly near it, anything. That can fly through the outer part of the crust, they can fly through a mountain if they're in interdimensional mode. They can't physically 100% be here with us. They go interdimensional, they dime out. They're probably more in the fourth dimension than the fifth dimension when they do it, but they can literally go through space any way they want. And
they wouldn't be flying right through a planet from right to the core.
No.
And they can fly, like you said, through solid Earth.
Right.
But only to the extent where it's not going
where the magnetism becomes greater than their ability to go near it.
Right.
Okay, they don't fly into the sun. That's misinformation. There's no such thing as that. They don't hang out around the sun at all. That is, think about the magnetism on the sun. They don't do it. I don't know who thinks that stuff up, but it's not true.
Yeah, I can get that. Okay, so with that being said, appreciate T-Bone for that super chat while we were getting these questions answered. Okay, so with that being said, that was the last question from the audience. Now, I did want to ask you, Preston, because I know with your expansive database, we always hear, especially for us here, we focus on the cases in North America, South America. What are some of the most interesting cases that you could talk about from abroad, from other side of the world? Since we know we have viewers from over there as well.
Oh, yeah. I mean, sightings occur in pretty much every country. One that was really interesting to me, let me think. Well, gosh, there was one in Austria where a gentleman was riding his motorcycle through the forest and came upon a landed craft. There were short, human-looking ETs, and he drove right up to them, and they were very inviting. So he drove his motorcycle right up into the craft, had a conversation with them, said, our leaders are so corrupt. we've got wars going on. Why don't you come down and fix things? And they basically said what they tell other people who ask that question. We can't do that. It's up to you. There was another case in Romania where 2 police officers were patrolling the area of this small town, which, gosh, I forget the name of it. But there was a UFO over the road. 2 little beings came down, which were not like I've heard described before. Short little beings wearing jumpsuits with large eyes, but sort of protruding stomachs. It was a little different than I hear from most people. And it was no real communication going on between them and the ETs, but it was a multiple witness case. So that was interesting. But I mean, I've got cases from all over the world. Sweden certainly had a huge number of cases. Norway, Finland had a really interesting case with tiny little ETs. England has a bunch of cases. Australia. I mean, you name it. If you look into any location on this planet and really dig in, you will see that they have a long, rich history of encounters, which includes sightings and face-to-face encounters and landings and onboard experiences, and probably a UFO crash or two.
Yeah, when I think about it, what would be so awesome is if, and maybe you already have this, but if not, this would be so awesome that if one day you put together like a map of Earth and then have dotted every single, like all the cases that you've covered.
Rob, it
and
would be black. It would be
exactly.
covered.
That's what. But see, that visual is so impactful when we're talking to those people who aren't within the fold. The people we're trying to wake up out there, and they see that globe being as black as it is with so many sightings. Then it just, I mean, that there's all your proof there. Obviously, you know what I mean. It just the visual, I think, would be pretty impactful.
Yeah, someone mentioned that to me. That would be a huge undertaking.
Yeah,
but it sure would be an awesome thing because people could research, click on any little dot and see all the things that are in that location. AI could do it if you were to feed in all the information into a program. It would be amazing.
Yeah, that would be. Maybe one day we'll get that. So we're pretty much at the end of the hour. You guys have been awesome like always. I mean, it's I love, I always like to speak to people that are doing things in this field and doing things to move the needle. And it's just so important to me because the reason why I do this is to play a part, as small as it may be, into helping move the needle for all of us. So I really appreciate what it is that you do, Preston and Dolly. The Lightgate is an awesome place for people to go. If you haven't subscribed, you guys need to get on over there. Like I said, every video is you could write a book on each video that's done over there. And just keep up the great work, Preston and Dolly. Do you guys have anything you want to go ahead and let the audience know?
I'll give you something to chew on for a while.
Just
you ready?
Yep.
Okay. I know it's hard to see. Okay, so I'm going to try really hard to make you see it. This is what I looked like way back when in 2007, in 2008, and 2009. That's me. I'm a redhead naturally. Okay?
Red, yes.
All right. Now, when Preston and I were talking, I explained to him my craft, and then I'm a pilot. Okay. And we went through long gyrations of me explaining to him how I flew, where I flew, and why. And one of the things that I admitted to him was that there was a craft that y'all already knew about that had videos, really, really good videos, and it flew for 3 years and was filmed. And when it first came out, I saw it, and I realized that they scrubbed all the pictures, close-ups of the cockpit, of the place of movement is what they call it to ETs. And I was in them. I could see myself on there, and I was really disappointed that the government scrubbed those pictures out. They erased them. Well, Preston's a dog with a bone. He won't leave anything alone, and I don't know how long it took him. It was months, okay? And came over to me and said, "Look at this. Is that you?" He found one. He actually found one. He pulled up. And I want to show it to you, and I want you to understand that it's not a joke. They didn't get they scrubbed me out enough that you can't see my face, but you can see from here over, okay?
I'll bring you up big screen for this one here. Okay, let me bring you up.
Okay. that is me sitting next to an ET. I'm sitting in the pilot seat. That's an
That's
ET.
wild. And it
That
looks
is me.
very similar to the picture you just
Yeah,
showed,
oh, that's
for
me.
sure.
That's the only one they didn't scrub, and I'm amazed that they missed that, honestly.
Wow.
Okay.
That is awesome.
Now I'll tell you a secret. That craft was the Turkey UFO, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Yes. I'm familiar.
2007, 2008,
And
2009.
I want to show you Talata. I took this picture at Laughlin, okay? And he's about 3,000 feet up. Let's see if I can get it for you. He's about 3,000 feet up, and he's only showing me a silhouette. Where the big dot is, there are two lights there you can't really tell, and that's the body of the craft. Now I'm going to show you a picture of the Turkey UFO that looks like that, okay? And
Yeah, check out Dolly's YouTube channel. You can get a good look at some of her footage. It's Dolly
this
Saffron.
this is the Turkey craft, okay? You can
Yes.
see where the two headlights are, and then the side of it. He was
Yes.
arraying for me at Laughlin so I could get him on film, because I told him, when I come out, I need proof, and he finally let me get him on film, okay,
Wow.
without me being there. But that is the craft.
That is awesome, because that is one of the most compelling sightings with
Yeah.
live beings to date. So
Yeah.
that's
Well, I want to
awesome.
make a point. I get a lot of flack, and I've put myself in a very dangerous position by even opening my mouth about any of this. And I'm sick and tired of the government lying and using, and us, everybody here being terrified of a big invasion that's coming, big false flag. And they've practiced, they know what they're doing with this. When I tell you I'm a pilot, I'm a pilot. When I tell you that I know how the bloody thing works and what energy it is and how to be interdimensional, I'm talking from experience and knowledge. I'm not playing games with this. This is real. I'm giving you real information. What I want everybody to do is prove me wrong. I want you to learn about science. I want you to learn about what you're talking about. Saying the words does not make you knowledgeable about what the event is or what it means. And when you have somebody like a pilot, even here, saying, this is how I fly this craft, this is how this works, and I can tell you the mechanics of it, I'm not joking around about that. You need to take that into consideration before you poo-poo it or you come up with somebody else's neck. Look it up, research it, learn the science behind it so you understand. So when I tell you a craft can't fly through the center of the earth because the magnetism there is too strong for them, I'm not joking around. That's real. Okay?
Right.
Please listen to what I say. Study, learn this stuff.
Yeah, don't look to our governments. Look to the contactees if you want
Right.
firsthand information.
Right.
Exactly.
Right?
Totally agree with that. Great information, and I really appreciate that statement, Dolly. Totally important to not discount someone's sighting, and it would behoove you to look into and study and research, and that's what all this is about. That's the journey that we're
right.
on. So, with that being said, another great interaction with you guys. Like I said, I think it's the third time I've been able to talk to you guys and interview you, and we definitely got to do it again. You guys need to, and talk to the viewers, go over to Preston and Dolly's page. The Light Gate is awesome. You said Preston, Dolly has her own YouTube as well.
Yep. Dolly Saffron, all one word. I also have a YouTube channel, and the Light Gate airs live each Monday at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern.
All right. Once again, this has been Preston Dennett, Dolly Saffron, Mr. Rob G. We're going to go ahead and pause for the cause for our final break of the night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Preston and Dolly, you guys have a great rest of your night. Have a great week, and you guys take care.
You too. Thank
Thanks,
you very
Rob.
much.
No problem. Talk to you later.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye. All right, guys, welcome back to After Hours, hour number 3, with me, your host, Mr. Rob G. Once again, thanks to the wonderful guests that we had today, Preston, Dennett, Dolly Saffron. Awesome, awesome. Every single time, awesome. Make sure that you're here next week as well. We have awesome shows set up for next weekend. We have Margie K, Debbie Ziegelmeyer from MUFON, remote viewers, all sorts of things. We have Drew Banky coming in as well. It's going to be awesome next weekend as well. Now, after hour number 3, what we do here is we go ahead and we get in touch with our paranormal reporter, or the paranormal reporter, which is Mr. Travis Musto. So we're going to go ahead and bring him in. We missed him last week, and let me go ahead and get him up on stage here. Okay, here we go. All right, Travis, how are you doing, sir?
Doing great. How about yourself?
Oh, we missed you last week. We had technical difficulties here at the show, and so we missed you last week. But we talked during the week, and I know you let me know that you had some awesome stuff, some things to show. And we're just, we're gonna get into it and see what it is that you have, and go ahead and talk. Everybody loves it when you come on, and so do I. So, what do you got for us this week?
All right. Yeah, no, it's just I've been busy as usual with life, and then in general with just things going on in the world. This year's just been full of awesomeness so far, and but yeah, it's been lovely weather as of lately. No overcast, so I had some time to survey the stars and and check out some things, right. And so looking out there and keeping my eyes open, and I managed to catch a nice little video of a unidentified low flying craft, and we could show that here in a bit. But other than that, though, just been looking into little reports from the locals here saying that their animals are being attacked by some sort of strange creature. Like it's a 4-legged creature, long, but you're not sure what it is, and it seems to be attacking them. Well, their dogs and stuff. And so I'm gonna go check out some tracks tomorrow, actually, and go see what I can find.
Awesome. Yeah, if you get any video of that, man, that'd be super awesome to see some of that.
For sure. I'm going to set up some wild game cameras and stuff along some trails and see what I can find in the area. Yeah, where people said they hear it running around or seen it running alongside the quads and stuff. So
that's gotta be scary. What do you think that is, dog man, or what do you think that might be?
Well, the way it was described, it was like a 4-legged beast that was long, and then they said it looked almost like it was at first it looked like a dark shadowy figure, and then when it started getting closer, they started seeing it. It looked like it almost was see through. I was like, "Whoa, what is that?" Or "What is that?" And that's what they're telling me, and I'm like, "Well, we'll check into it. I want to check into this myself, right?" So.
Yeah. I think it was Dave Scott was talking about a theory of Sasquatch, for example, having these hair similar to a polar bear with I can't even explain it the way that he did, but the hairs are actually clear, right? And they take on the color of the backgrounds that are around, and was saying that could be a reason why it seems like they almost can disappear right in front of your eyes. So that could be exactly what you're explaining there, potentially.
Yeah, and the rabbits do that out here as well. They turn into the white hairs and whatnot during the winter, but it's like I said, it's the way it's described is as a predatorial animal that just stalks on the other animals in the area, and it's kind of been lurking around, getting closer to homes and stuff. So I'm gonna go check it out and take some looks, maybe see what I see. I was like, "Are you sure it's not a lynx? It's not a classic?" I'm just trying to give all the, and they're like, "No, I ruled out a coyote. I ruled out these things." So I'm gonna check it out, definitely.
Well, that's gonna be awesome. That's awesome. So you sent me some video, you sent me some photos, you sent me some different things. What was going on with that? What's the story behind those?
All right, so the first two photos I sent to you were from 2023, and those were like just some random, like that was like a random time during the summer when I was able to capture. It was like a blinking craft going by, and it was flashing, but it was very like when I got the video, because like I was able to flash the camera and get it like a nice picture of it. But the thing was when I was trying to video it, it was just like it was like getting more further in the distance. So like it's kind of really dim. When I went and watched it again, like I was like, yeah, I don't know, this is kind of like this is a little bit dimmer and stuff. But I got a really great video to share with you, and that was I caught that one just like the other week, pretty much. And that one was just pretty much clear night. It was beautiful. It was like +3 outside, even though like, you know, winter's all around and whatnot, right? I'm just like seeing this beautiful craft and all the stars lit up. You can literally see the moon and this craft flying like over it, like, you know, across the sky. And I checked the reports of the International Space Station, and it was down like down south, like during my during the when I was seeing it, right? So during the time I was seeing it, so I was like, well, there you go. The flight pattern was nowhere near Canada at that time. So
yeah, and if anybody out there has dealt with Travis on here, you know, which is what I love, is Travis brings receipts. Okay, Travis brings receipts. We know we saw that awesome anomalous UAP or whatever it was that you caught in the sky, that was clearly something anomalous. So we know Travis brings receipts, which is awesome. So we're going to get some more of that tonight, and I can't wait to do it. You can let me know whenever you're ready to go ahead and share, and I can just bring it up here and you just walk us through it.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, sure. I don't mind. We can do that now. I don't mind if you want to. It's a nice little 2-minute video.
Okay. Yeah. Let's jump into it. Let's take a look, and then you can let us know what we've been looking at.
Second here, you know.
Uh-oh, dimming the lights. It's about to go down. Travis is about to shock the world.
That's good. All right. So here we go with
All right. Let me bring you up full screen here. All right. Go ahead.
Okay, so here we go with the starting of the video. So I'm just looking at the ground right now.
January 23rd, 2024. We got object, low flying, unidentified object flying across or above the moon right now.
What the hell is that?
It's moving pretty fast. How excellent is that?
And there was no sound of the craft, but those are cars going by on the highway. And out here it carries, right? Sound carries because of the winter.
Jeez, Travis.
Isn't it awesome?
That is freaking awesome. That's anomalous as a mug. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Both of those things. Wow. Yeah.
Passers in the night. Oh, lovely.
That's a good catch.
Getting kind of in distance now. Oh, I just had another one flash above.
Yeah, there was another one flashing, but I didn't get that one.
You got enough, man. You got enough. That's clearly something anomalous in the sky. There's no question. Not a plane, not a helicopter, not a space station, not a satellite. So that's all the prosaic explanations out the window. So, yeah, that's likely something not from here for sure. Yeah, Dead Fish Cheese Spread is asking, are you inside or outside?
I'm outside. I'm outside.
Okay.
Well, I'm inside right now showing you guys a video, right? But like I was outside recording this.
Yep.
It was cold out. Well, I mean, it wasn't that cold. It was like +1 out, so it was warmer on a colder day, I guess I should say.
Derek Galloway wants to know what type of device you're using to capture this.
I have my what is this called again? I'll figure out what it's called again. But it has 100 times
It's
zoom.
gone, folks.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah. Okay. Those are receipts. Wait a minute. You got to get the, because it's every time. You never fail to disappoint. It never happens, and you never disappoint, I should say. You always bring the goods, and you always have the receipts on it. That's definitely something anomalous. And he took his camera outside and captured this. And I try to tell people, there's a lot of people out there that haven't had a sighting. And I always ask the question, like, how many times have you went outside and looked up? You know what I mean? And you're catching these things so frequently, it just shows that these things are up there all the time. All the time. Everybody's blown away. Doug Shelby is giving the whoa with the can't believe it emoji face, totally shocked emoji face, and I'm the same way. Man, you keep catching them.
Yeah, it's kind of cool because like sometimes I'll feel the like I'll just feel like they're like I'm like oh I'll just feel like a place to look at in the stars and I'll know they're there, and but like also another thing about it is there are times when I've tried to capture them and they've just like cleared my battery. I dropped right from 70% right down to like 5 and dying, like blinking. And then like and then there's other times when like the captures didn't turn out and it was just black, like completely black, like the visual, the video, you know, you could just hear my vocals and that, you know what I mean? So it's like, you know, so sometimes they do mess with the recording devices or things like that. But you know, it's very possible. You know, out here up where I'm at in the north, it's so like there's no light pollution, right? So I see all the constellations, all the stars. You know, so it's pretty normal for me to go out there and look upon them and know which one's a star, which one's a planet, which one's the constellations and stuff, right? So it's
I mean, it just shows that you're in tune with the phenomena. Like your frequency is set, and like you stated, you get these feelings and then go outside and then you catch these things. And that's not the first time I've ever heard that. I've heard of other people say the exact same thing, that they've kind of now trained themselves to not even second guess what they're feeling, and when they get that feeling, to go outside immediately and look up and record. And so I've heard that from other people. Deb from SAC is asking if you could guesstimate about how high up were those things.
definitely they were high up, you know, probably like the stratosphere, you know, but it was a very big craft for me to see that light like that, like reflecting or the light itself generated from the craft, you know.
Yeah, it was huge.
Yeah.
So you got that, Deb, he said it was up near the stratosphere. So what do we want to say, 30, 40, 50,000 feet, probably, something like that? Okay.
Yeah.
So pretty high. And then for you guys, for that to be so big, still being up that high, that's insane. You can cross everything off the list. You cross satellites, everything that a skeptic would like to bring to the table and speculate. And I would love actually for somebody that considers themselves a true skeptic to look at that and try to explain that, because I don't think that you can. You know what I mean? And it's cases like those that really kind of solidifies what it is that we're dealing with. Like, this is not us. You know what I mean? Clearly, it's not us. So now we get into what is it? If it's not us, then what is it? Now that's a rabbit hole to jump down. But yeah, you're awesome, dude. You're awesome. You have not. You have not brought the receipts. When you said you had something, you definitely did. So, with that being said, like, yeah, I mean, are you usually alone, or do you call anyone out, or?
there's been times when I have had others there with me and they've seen them too, or I've tried to show people. And there's like I was trying to show my mom one time, right? And I was like, "Hey, look, there's a craft flying right there." And she's like, "Where?" Like she didn't see it, and I'm like, "It's right there, like it's going." And then just as she was about to catch, like see it, and then it just went away. It was gone. I was like, "Oh," I was like, "Never mind, it's all good." But there are people that have been there, and like they're like my cousin was there. He was, "Oh, what is that?" I'm like, "It's them." He's like, "No, what is that?" And dude, he started kind of like, I'm like, "It's them." He's just
Look, I've been trying almost like train like my relatives to look up and because I talked to them about this. Obviously, I've had my own sighting. They haven't. They're still kind of on the outside of this and not really like sure about what's going on. I was on FaceTime with my mother one time, and it was the middle of the day, and she's kind of got the phone, she's looking down at the phone, so I can kind of see her, and I can also see the sky, and I see this little thing in the sky. This little thing seemed like a white sphere, and I'm telling her, look up there, like, what is that? Like, because I couldn't really see what it was. It seemed to be something anomalous, but I'm trying to get her to be the eyes and tell me what it is that she's seen, and she just can't see it. I'm forever trying to train family members to kind of do that, and yeah, but they're still kind of on the outside, man. My family doesn't really they haven't really come all the way around to understand. And I've shown them my video, and I've shown them other videos, and they just still aren't there yet. But one person at a time, hopefully we can awaken everybody and get them to that point. But yeah, so how you been doing other than that, man? So you had that awesome sighting. You had the potential dog man thing going on. What else did you have? What else have you been up to lately?
I'm currently working on another book here, so it's almost done. Like
Yes.
it's written, but I'm just editing it and making sure it's perfect. And it's gonna have like over 80 pictures, illustrated pictures in it, and it's gonna be really good. Like it's gonna be really excellent for everyone out there.
Yes, I'm glad you said that because someone just asked a moment ago what that book is right there in front of you.
It's my book, Fort Thunder, written by me.
The full edition, the big one. Yeah.
Yeah, this is the one right here with you get it's a nice size. There's a bunch of pictures all up in there, the pictures of the forts and maps and everything. Yeah, it's great. It's the text is beautifully to see and read and,
I gotta
and
order
enjoy,
one
right?
of those.
But
I
I
gotta
had it
order
right
one.
here in front of me.
Yeah, I gotta order one of those for
25
sure.
bucks on
And
Amazon.
you gotta go get the book Fort Sunder, written by Travis. What is that? Willier? Is that how you say it?
Yeah, Willier. Yeah,
Okay.
Travis Willier. Yeah,
You guys gotta go
just
get
Travis
this.
Willier.
Get this book. The guy brings receipts, so you already know the book is gonna be receipts. So you gotta go get this book for
I
sure.
also have a Plebeian book out there too. That's the other one that's called The Plebeian Who Stole Me and My Heart. That one's just an electronic version at the moment. I do plan to make it a paperback in time, but I want to add
Yeah.
more images to that one as well. So
Yeah, awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. So yeah. So the new book. So you said let's talk about the new book then. What is the new book gonna be covering?
a lot of Star Nation stuff. A lot of like the Galactic Federation of Light Alliances and a lot of different beings out there, and just some of like how they're just like their lifestyle and the technology and things, and the beautiful existence out there in the stars and the galaxy, and it's gonna be wonderful. I can't wait to like I said, I'm just finishing off the last 2 chapters of editing, and then I'm gonna throw a bunch of pictures and images in there for everyone and release it, and it should be out there for all of you by next week.
I gotta talk to you too behind the scenes because I want to eventually put together a book, but it seems like just a really tough thing to tackle because look at all that content you have in there and just how to get all that formatted and stuff. So I would love to kind of pick your brain on that, man.
Oh, we can do whatever, man, and we can do whatever.
For sure. Little Cam 51 is asking, Are you related to Sean Mustos, who appears in Cree search results on YouTube? Or do you know who that is? Sean Mustos.
I know there's quite a few moose out there across the nation there. So sorry, I can't say I do.
Okay.
But,
Definitely.
well,
And
and mustus, right? Like there's different variations of it. And
yeah, and T-Bone says, has Travis been a guest on SOR? For
oh yeah,
sure. Yeah, for sure. I interviewed him a few months ago. He's been on with Dave on previous episodes. That's the reason why we had to get him, because he's an awesome dude and everybody resonates with him, and he has great intellect, and is tied into the whole native the native side of our story of humanity. That's the guy is a great dude, man. So you got to make sure. I know there's some people who came in because Preston and Dolly were here. This Travis is a reason for you guys to come back on these Sundays, man. He always brings it. So he's bringing receipts. Tim Altman says he can't find a link for the books. Man, if you go to Amazon.com and bring his book up there, you should be able to copy and paste the link. Or Travis, if you have it.
Me in my heart, I have to say you got to look under the books like the category books, and then type in the Palladian Who Stole Me in My Heart, written by Travis Williams.
Okay. And if you have the links, Travis, you can put them in the private chat, and then I can actually post them into the live chat here.
Sure, I'll do that right now. Don't mind the extreme close-up.
Yeah. Take your time on that, man. So, yeah. Yeah, he's Doug Shelby says, yeah, he's been on SOR a whole plethora of times, which is Dave Scott's favorite word. And it's true. He's definitely been on here a lot. And that's where, that's why we're all family, man. And it's a beautiful thing, right? It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. We have Travis on Sundays, and then we have Brian Bowden on Saturdays, which he would have been here yesterday, but he had some things that wouldn't allow him to come. He wasn't feeling well, and we have the link here. Let me go ahead and get these posted. Let me copy this link. Okay, let me get that one in the chat. So you guys go ahead and save these links or click on them and go order now. Let me see. This is the first one. Make sure that came through. Yep, we got that one. And let me get you the other one here. Copy the link. Yeah, because Travis is bringing receipts, man. So he's proven, he's vetted, he's the guy, and those are the people you got to go to. Just like I was saying, when you have relevant data, it's helpful to the overall conversation. Deadfish Cheese Spread says subscribe. That's awesome. Appreciate you doing that. Right. And yeah, these are the links here. So save these links so you guys can make sure that you go ahead and support Travis on these endeavors, and being on the lookout for the new book, which he's here weekly, so I'm sure we'll discuss it and go over it. But so great, man. I'm glad to hear that you got stuff rolling over there. Got the creative juices flowing and cooking, man. I can appreciate a creative. I'm creative myself. I write music, and I'm just artistic in nature, so I can appreciate that, and that's why I really got to pick your brain, man. Finkel cheese. This is a new person here. Finkelstein Cheese Burks. Travis, what cutie gotta get your book? Oh, there you go. Okay. Let's give him his flowers tonight. Let's give him his flowers.
That's good.
Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. And thank you for coming in, Finkelstein. If you have it's your first time here, please consider hitting that subscribe button and notification bell. We go live after hours, always Saturday, Sunday, 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. Pacific, Saturday and Sundays. Travis is here with us on Sundays. Then we have Dave Scott conductor of the Woo Train, Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. until midnight. So 7 days a week, we are going live here, 3 hour shows each night. So you'll never not have something to do here. So yes, and T Bone says, and he has great energy. Raining the accolades, man. But it's true. You know, you can't. It's true, and this is definitely why we love working with Travis. So, for sure. So yeah, man. Just shooting the breeze right now. So did you have? You got the book working on that.
Yeah.
You're going on. You're going to look into that potential dogman sighting.
Yeah.
What else do you got going on?
I was just gonna say that I've been also doing live streaming tarot card readings. So like I pretty much been just sitting on like, for the last like month, I've been just reading people's tarot cards online, like on live stream for like I said, the last month here, I must have did over 300 readings, and it's been excellent. It's been fun, very, very in depth and intuitive, and a lot of ET connections out there, and it's just been a blast, I should say.
Yes, and Smallbit has posted the link. We have it up here on the screen, youtube.com/at Blue Lightning Cards.
Yeah. There's new videos coming there as well too. I haven't got to uploading it yet. It's tonight. Tonight after
awesome.
the show.
Awesome. Tonight, you guys, you heard that. As soon as after hours is over, go on over there and make sure you guys subscribe. And keep an eye on Travis, man. He's doing things, man. He's definitely doing things. So let me see. With that being said, what I'm gonna do? Deb from SAC. I don't have the trivia ready, so I don't know if we could do that tonight. But what I can do, we can have Travis just hang out with us for a little bit, and while we jump into some of Lon Strickler's Phantom and Monsters, phantomandmonsters.com. We like to do this occasionally because he has some really great stuff going on over there. And then we can kind of talk about some of the stories that he has listed. He already has a bunch of great stuff there. So shout out to Lon Strickler, and make sure you guys go to phantomandmonsters.com to support what he is doing over there as well. And I am trying to bring this up. Phantom. Oh, okay, that's why. Makes sense. Let me see. Phantoms. Okay, there we go. All right. So let me go ahead and you have a trivia that you could pose. Okay, Deb, let me see. If we have enough time, I'll do one Lon Strickler, and then maybe we could do something like that. But let me go ahead and read the first one that we have here and make sure that we have some. Yeah, no. I don't have the other soundtrack, unfortunately, Deb. Okay. All right, Lon Strickler's phantomandmonsters.com. Make sure you guys go and support. I'm just going to read one story from his website here. This one of the ones he has posted on his main page here is, "Did that moose just cry for help?" All right, so Lon Strickler has a lot of different people around the world that send him different accounts of experiences that they have had themselves. So this one goes like this. So a U.S. Army infantryman is on maneuvers at Fort Wainwright, Alaska, when he and another soldier see an odd-looking moose. At the same time, something is calling for help. He says he received this following account. So I've been in Alaska for more than 2 years, and I'm stationed in Fort Wainwright. Every so often, we go to field missions, and where we go is super isolated. Me and a few guys were tasked to drive down this mountain that we are currently doing our training on, and we replied yes, reluctantly, because we just wanted some real food rather than the MREs we have been living off for the past few days. While 2 of the soldiers were ground guiding me in my battle, I'll call Knox, out of the runway, we noticed it started to get dark. fast. Being on that mountain is hardly ever any light unless it's from the moon. But just to get a general idea, you could see the northern lights easily. As we drive, Knox is telling me that he has to urinate really bad, so I just tell him to pull over. As he began to pull over, it got extremely quiet. I felt as if someone punched me in my gut because I started to get this strong sense of something watching me, and I started to get goosebumps. I took it with a grain of salt that maybe it was just the MRE making my stomach hurt and the weather making the hairs on my skin stand. But then I felt paranoid, and I've never felt this way before in the field because I've been here numerous times before. As he walks back to the truck, I see the foliage on my right hand side fall as if weight was being forced on it. I tap Knox's shoulder and tell him to look in my direction. It was a moose, but it looked oddly skinny, and the antlers just didn't look normal. Our eyes got huge, and he responded, "What the hell is that thing?" I stammered because I wasn't too sure what it was either. He buckled up and pressed the brake, but we heard help coming from the direction of the moose. My heart dropped, and I felt the heat leave my face, and I looked at him asking, "Did you hear that, or was it just me?" He replied, "Bruh, I heard that." He laughed nervously, and we turned off the truck and shined our headlamps towards the moose's direction. Says we are 89B, so we carry our standard M4s with us in the vehicle when we are transporting ammo, whether there is anything in the cans or not, just because it's for our safety. Knox and I looked in the cab to just verify we had our weapons on us, and we did. I jumped out of the cab, and he followed with our headlamps still on the moose. We walked closer, and the word help was getting louder and louder. We got a few more feet closer, but not extremely too close to the moose, and it ran back into the wood line, making me and Knox jump. We looked at each other, and we were both probably thinking the same thing. Did that moose just cry for help? I told him I was getting cold, and he agreed. So we paced back to the truck as fast as possible. As I closed the door, we heard the words help, but louder than it was earlier. I got that gut feeling right after I heard the words and looked into the dark wood line and saw red eyes. I gulped and told him to look, but he put the truck in drive and sped off. We talked for a few minutes about the situation, and complete silence followed right after. When we got done with the mission, he sped up the mountain to get back to where the rest of the company was, and he didn't say a word. He sleeps on the cot next to me, and he didn't speak to anyone about the situation. I'm a bit shaken by the situation myself. Whatever it was that called for help, I'm sorry I never went into the wood line. Yeah. Okay. Crazy story. What do you think about that, Travis?
Oh, that's just that's a wild ending to write that, right? Like, just like, I'm sorry to whoever called from them. I didn't go in there, right, to check it out. But that's also like, you know, that's one of those things, like, you hear something like that in the woods, right? And it's always like, it could be something tricking you to get in there, right? Or tricking you to go get you, right? That's one of the things.
Yeah.
I would explore it if I was properly prepared, but
We said he had the M4s, and they were armed apparently, but they're still too scared to go take a look. And I got to say, myself, yeah, help. And then, okay, it's coming from the moose. Did the moose just cry for help? Yeah, probably doing what the guy did, hopping in the truck, hitting the gas, and getting out of there. I don't know that I want to know, especially with the red eyes out there too. And when I'm reading that, it makes me think of like where you're describing yourself to be, like in a mountainous area where it's low light, where the sun sets pretty quickly, and it's pitch black dark, only the moonlight, you can only see by moonlight type of situation. And yeah, that's just that one's not for me, man. There's a lot of and there's paranormal hunters, ghost hunters that and like Dave, people like Dave that go out into these type of areas purposely to look for stuff, and I don't get it. I couldn't be a part of that, man. I'm sorry. I'll report from here. You let me know what happened, and I'll be the one, like you say, I'll be the one to tell the story.
Yeah.
I'll leave the bravery up to you guys.
But it's totally like that experience, right? Like finding that other side of the reality, right, and world, and being a part of that, and this guy keeps jumping up on me. Anyway, so he's just like trying to jump up here. Anyway, so what's happening is I'm getting like that whole the idea of that guy, like he. It's like you do see something like other level, other mystery, and your first thought, like like let's get more help, or let's get more get to a safer place, right? Your instinct is like, I don't know what's going on, so it's like first thing survival, right? Like it thinks, right? But there's been times like where we like when checked it out, like have to go check it out and just go through the woods and whatever and go look for it, and there's been like where we didn't find anything, but we've heard the wild calling and different kind of like screams, but it wasn't like audible, like in the sense of like it wasn't a fox scream. We all heard what foxes sound like, but it was like it sounded like a woman, like and then we went and checked it out and there was nothing in there, like it was like spirits and things like that.
Yeah.
And, there was one time my dad did fire on a moose when he was like about my age, and he was out hunting by himself, and it started going ouch, 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 like it started like
what?
Yeah, and he himself, he got freaked out. He dropped his gun there, and he didn't know what he thought he shot someone, and he went running in there, and like he went checked it out, but he didn't see any blood or anything. So he's like, oh, what the hell? Like he went looking, he didn't see anyone, and he's like, oh, and he jumped back in his vehicle, picked up his gun, put it in his truck, and drove home. And then he couldn't sleep all that night. He said it bothered him so bad that he went there the next day, like the very early, like brink of day, like starting the morning, went looking around for like person, if there was a person there. There was nobody. But you know what I mean? Like he said he saw the moose, like he shot it, and like, yeah, and it started doing that sound like ouch, 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 ouch. Yeah. Like it started running off. But he quit hunting for like 5 years, 6 years. And then but now when he goes out hunting, he always goes out with like other people, like like me, or he'll go out with his brothers or whatever, right? But like yeah, he told me like that it really freaked him out, like to have that happen. So
ouch, ouch, ouch. Oh my God, dude. Come on, man.
Yeah. Come
on. See, I couldn't imagine.
Like
I couldn't imagine,
yeah,
right?
he told me that was straight up right there.
I tip my hat to your father, and I tip my hat to you and to others that have encountered like cryptid sort of beings. I don't know. And as far as like ET interaction, just face to face, like a lot of experiencers talk about, it frightens me. I'm not afraid to say that. It frightens me, even though a lot of people say you shouldn't be. It's okay. Everything's gonna be great. But to be face to face with something that you don't understand is the thing that, I've had the UFO sighting, and then for me, it feels like the next natural step in the evolution would be to have something face to face, or to not even face to face, but to see something. And I'm just hoping that I don't have to do that. I'm just hoping that I don't ever have to do that. Thank you, CS, for your awesome super chat there. I do appreciate you. And looks like Travis might be having some trouble here. And that's okay. Back. Boom. Boom. He's back. Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like I was saying, I feel it feels like the natural evolution after having a sighting of craft would be, it's okay, you see another craft. Okay, great. You've seen one, you've seen them all. But to have that sighting of something unexplainable, like a cryptid or something living and breathing, is the thing that I fear, because I sit alone, like even in the studio. It's a studio / man cave, and I'll be here after the show, watch TV, and kind of hanging out by myself and thinking of other things to draw up for the show. And then I'm just, I think of the stories that I hear from people that I interview, like, man, the thing just materialized in front of me, or it just walked through the wall, or I just heard the sound like a ouch, ouch, ouch. Now, if I heard that anywhere in my vicinity, then I would be freaked out. I wouldn't know what to do. And it kind of just, I know it's possible because it happens to people. And I'm just like, dude, I kind of don't want it to happen to me. I don't know if that makes me seem like a wimp or what, but yeah, that ain't me, man.
Yeah, you know what? That it's funny with the ETs. Like it will happen if it's if you're meant to happen. If it's meant to happen, you're meant to have that connection, or they're there to help you. It'll just happen even without knowing, or you know what I mean? Like it'll just happen.
See, and that's why I'm getting regression this year. That's why I said 2024 for me is regression by the end of this year, because for one, I have a scar that I just can't explain that I've noticed since I was younger, and I could not. I once I noticed it, I couldn't think of a time where I was injured there, and then when I had my sighting, then I'm like, okay. And then I hear about some people who go through regression to dig up things that they may not even be aware of. Then I'm like, man, is there a chance that I have something that I just don't remember that may have happened to me? Maybe I have had a situation where I ran into something like that, but I'm gonna regress this year just so I can know for sure. And then maybe I feel different after that. Maybe I find out, yeah, oh, you had this experience, and then maybe my whole outlook on that changes. So I guess we'll see. Have you ever thought about doing regression or
I actually
familiar?
know quite a few people that do it, like in my area, in the city of Edmonton too, out there, and like also down far, like across across the way. But still, though, I know a lot of people that have do it, and like I'm excited if I get the chance to try it, I would definitely.
Mm-hmm.
But like I've had my own like regression like take place like just through dreams, like the night I dreamt it, and it just felt weird because like you know how it is just day-to-day life, you wake up and it's just like you don't really think about it, you just live and exist. Well, it felt like that in the dream, but I was just like but like I knew it was me because it was like somebody in the past life and like living, and it just felt like another day I was living in that life again. And but when I woke up, I was like, "Whoa!" So that was me. That was my existence. That's who I was. Like that's like what I was like, where I was in the time, or you know what I mean. Like I had that view of it. I got a little view, like a view
Yeah,
of a sight.
that's helpful. That's nice to have that. You know what I mean? And I'm just more in the not knowing phase. You know what I mean? And that's why it's so cool that, and why I asked the questions that I asked to certain people that I interview, because I'm trying to fill in those gaps uh, that to kind of give me enough information to feel like I've had an experience. So I ask probing questions. I just want to know. I want to know. So yeah, and maybe I'll get to that point. Maybe I'll evolve by the time 2024 is over. Maybe I'll be a totally, completely enlightened person that realized that I've ran into ETs at some point in time. So I don't know. I guess we'll see. I guess we'll see. And maybe I'll come out, man, and get with you and the natives, man, and sit down and do what's the thing where you sit and you process in the I guess they called it like a sweat where you're
Yeah,
sweating.
yeah,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah. I mean, might have to do that, man. It's wide open for me in 2024, man.
You'll
So
come back and reconnect.
that's what I want. That's what I want. That's what I want. I want to connect to the native, because I have Native American in my bloodline, and it's something that I need. I feel like I need to connect to. You know what I mean? And I definitely want to make sure that I do that. So, well, here's what we're gonna do, Travis. Man, we ran out of time. I got to do some promotional stuff. So we'll wrap this one up. It's been awesome, dude. You always bring in receipts. Totally appreciate you. You killed it again. You make after hours that much better, man, when you come through doing what you do. And we're gonna go ahead and reconnect again next week. So everybody, you love Travis. Make sure you're here next Sunday. as we get the paranormal reporter with some more awesome stuff. Never know what he's going to see during the week and may have in store for us next weekend.
All righty.
All right.
Later.
Got anything to say to the audience before you go?
Yes, thank you for everyone that subscribes to my channel, Blue Lightning Cards. It's also available, Blue Lightning Cards, on TikTok. You can also find me on Twitch under Assault Rifle Omen. That's where I do a lot of the live streaming of tarot card readings. Travis Willier, for looking at my books on Amazon. I hope you guys check out the links. I hope you guys enjoy them. Thank you for supporting my vision. It was lovely being here, and I'm so happy I got to share that video with the world and everyone watching, the viewers out there. Thank you so much, and fill the road of life with happiness every step of the way, and peace and joy to all out there. Thank you.
Killed it. Love it. All right, Travis, we'll reconnect. I'll talk to you during the week as always, and we'll connect next weekend.
Sure, for sure. See you then,
all right,
everybody.
All right, bro. Take care, man. All right. So that's Paranormal Reporter. We do this every week. Awesome stuff. Travis always brings the receipts, and that's what I say. That's why I feel like After Hours is almost where I want it to be. It's almost there. I think we have a powerful, impactful setup here, and there's just a few more tweaks that need to be done. What you guys will see is we have a new backdrop, we have the graphic, we have a lot of stuff going on. But there's a couple of more things that I would like to see here at After Hours before I really feel like this is the jam, right? So if you haven't been here before, we totally appreciate you coming in. I know we have some extra people with Preston and Dolly coming through, and we do appreciate your support of Preston and Dolly and of what we do here at Spaced Out Radio. Like I said, 7 days a week, we try to bring you, the best interviews, try to have the best conversations. And I'm really feeling good about what it is that we're putting together. And it's you guys show from what you say in the chat, and you guys show that you really appreciate it. So, we're just going to keep it moving. So yeah, with that being said, let me go ahead and actually real quick, I got to talk about here's what I'll do. We haven't done this in a while. Let me run the couple commercials that we have here for Spaced Out Radio because we don't have ugly swag, and you got to go get these Alien Head Rob G shirts. So let me see, it's right up there, right? This guy right here, we got him on t-shirts. The Rob G Alien Head t-shirt. Show up in Reno with the t-shirt. And let's get it going. Let me go ahead and get this commercial going for you guys. It's buried in this stuff here. Give me one. Okay, here we go. All right, yep. Let's go ahead and check out the swag commercial. We don't have ugly swag, and let's go.
Guess what? We do not have ugly swag. We have Spaced Out Radio gear that you're going to want to wear. Why? Because no one wants to wear ugly clothing. So head on over to spacedoutradio.com and go shopping today. You'll be glad you did. And it's a great way to support our show. Once you get your gear, send us a picture of you rocking out in your SOR swag. spacedoutradio.com. Shop there today and make yourself look good. You love your woo, it's time to make a commitment to the 3rd annual SOR Fan Party. This time, we're heading to Reno, Nevada and the Silver Legacy Casino and Resort, May 10th through 12th, 2024. Tickets are $60 or $100 for VIP. With that, you get a free radio show, you get to hang out with celebrity guests from Spaced Out Radio, including our team, who are coming to hang out with you. You get to meet the entire team, like Science Bob, Merle, Melinda Leslie, Geraldina Roscoe, and more. It's a weekend packed with adventure, and we want you there. After all, we're doing this for you. Find out more and get your tickets at info@spacedoutradio.com and book your hotels today at the Silver Legacy Casino and Resort in Reno, Nevada. Come join us for the SOR Fan Party, May 10th through 12th, 2024.
All right, all right. Awesome commercials, right? Yeah, we got it going on here. So get your swag, and you have a great point here, Finkelstein, saying get the chatters to model LOL, and it's a real thing that we're trying to do. So we've been promoting the swag at the spacedoutradio.com/shop. And the thing that we want and would love for you to do is when you get the swag is to take a photo with wearing the swag so that we can do exactly that. We can get those pictures posted on the website at spacedoutradio.com, and also to feature you guys in some of these future commercials that we're putting together. So definitely one thing that we are looking forward to getting is photos of all of you wearing some of this Spaced Out Radio swag. But yeah, you got to get the Rob G Alien Head t-shirt. It's on the shop. If you go and look, it's on there. We got the hoodies. We got the Rob G socks. It's crazy. We got the Dave Scott awareness underwear. Okay, Spaced Out Radio Dave Scott underwear and panties. Don't believe me? Go to the site and check it out. I swear it's there. And yeah, you definitely want to go ahead and get you some of that. Just get it from somebody you love. Take a picture in the swag, send it to us. That way we can post it up on the website. So with that being said, what I want to go ahead and do is thank our super chatters. I want to definitely thank our super chatters for supporting us tonight. T-Bone, thank you for your support of Spaced Out Radio. Deb from SAC, thank you for your support. T-Bone again, thank you for your support. Aloha Dave 13, thank you for your support. T-Bone again, thank you for your support. CS, thank you so much for your support. All right, and with that being said, we want to thank you for tuning your frequency to Spaced Out Radio, where we do what we do best. And what's that, you ask? Let me check the chat. What's that, you ask? We own the night. I didn't see it. You guys didn't do it. Yep, I want the Rob G socks. Go ahead and get those, Christine. We own the night, guys. We'll check out Dave Scott tomorrow, Monday through Friday. We'll be right back here on After Hours next weekend. Hit the notification bell. It's always a ball. I will see you guys next weekend, or you can check me out at the Social Dig on Wednesday as we cover on my channel Scientology, the cult of Scientology, and also come in for the live call-in show that we have at the Social Dig next Saturday. We'd love to hear from you. Love to hear your experiences. Make sure that you're over there. Hit the like and subscribe on my channel, and let's get it going. You guys have a great rest of your night. Have a great week. You guys all take care. We're out of here.